Is it live? Okay, it's good. It's good, I think. Yeah, it's good. Thank you. Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. It happens. My cortisol is low. It has been low. I'm keeping it low. I don't care. Meditate. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Just the way I like it. Meditate. Cortisol low. Everything low. Keep it 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 low. Keep the cortisol low, chat. It's 2026. We cannot be doing high cortisol spikes. It's got to be low. Keep it low. Do your thing. Everything will work out just fine. I'm going to tell him. All right. Woo! We're back. Thank you for bearing with me. In and out just like I like it. Roll call to start. Blake, Friesman, Kevin, Polka, Proof of Work, G-Man, Jackson Ray, Digimoney, Rocky, Viblet, the real ones. Spicy Meatball, Luke, Elliot. Thank you guys for locking in with me. Kai, what's good? Tay, what's good? Tulip, what's good? Rockefeller, what's good? Digi, what's good? Live the Life TV, Stark King, what's good? Fries, SNH, Sparky, the whole squad in here. Thank you all for joining. Tulip King, Viblet, Wavy Navy, 80, 100. Anyone's first time chatting? Malcolm, what's good? Defluge, what's good? Goldman Tracks, what's good? Digi, what's good? Squad. Welcome back to the stream. Look, we have a lot to talk about today. It's an eventful day. I've been crashing out all fucking day. It's only right. Jackson Ray, what's good? I said Pam Bondi ruined my life, and the spooks came and ruined my fucking stream. So, look, we have a lot to talk about today. I'm going to be completely honest. In 45 minutes, give or take, Alex Finn is coming on stream, and he's the Claude bot expert, okay? He's the fucking Claude bot expert. We're bringing him on. He's going to come talk about AI stuff, because I'm going to be honest, it's the most important, entertaining stuff that's happening right now. It just is. Before that, before the Apewood, what's good? I have a lot I want to talk about. Specifically, I want to fucking get my gripes and get my shit off with Pam Bondi, who I am fucking not happy with. She doesn't know me, but I fucking know her, and dude, I'm going to be honest. I spent the whole morning crashing out. I spent the whole morning fucking tweaking and crashing out and trying to digest what had just happened. And I'm all over the place. So I want to start. I reserved a bunch of time for me to crash out this morning or at the beginning of stream about like stupid shit. I don't really have that much time anymore because we wasted a bunch of it with stream rugging. But I want to say first, how is everyone? Welcome back to the stream. Crypto is down, Bitcoin's down, but metals are down worse. So that's okay. Not as bad. And chat, I went on a date yesterday. And I told you all that yesterday was the NBA trade deadline for Valentine's Day dates. If you didn't have one by end of market close yesterday, you don't have one on Saturday. And so I went on a date as sort of my last hurrah. And I don't have a Valentine's Day date. Okay. But the thing I want to tell you about the goers out there that don't have a Valentine's Day date is that usually what they tell you is that Valentine's Day is the Super Bowl for single guys. That's usually what they tell you. They say Valentine's Day is the Super Bowl for single guys. Okay. But what they are messing up when they use the Super Bowl analogy is that in order to win the Super Bowl, you have to play defense. Okay? In order to win a Super Bowl, you have to play defense. And so what I'm here to tell you is that Valentine's Day on a Saturday is not the Super Bowl. My brothers, it is the NBA All-Star Game. Okay? Because the only thing that matters this Saturday on Valentine's Day and in the All-Star Game is offense, brother. All you have to do is get on the floor in the NBA All-Star Game and you are scoring 30. Okay? There is zero defense, only offense, and all anybody wants to do is score points. All anyone wants to do is put the ball in the basket, and if you just show up and make it onto that floor on Saturday, brother, you are going to score some fucking points. And so anyone that tells you it's the Super Bowl is lying. It is the NBA All-Star Game, and all you got to do is show up. All you got to do is lace your shoes up and get a touch. Because if you get the ball in your hands, you are scoring. And so, while the trade deadline might not have gone as planned, you might be the Lakers and you wanted Giannis and you left with Luke Kennard. My brother, good thing for you is Saturday is not the NBA playoffs. It is the All-Star Game. Okay? And so, yes, I did go on a date yesterday. And one thing that I'm realizing about myself is that I've been doing a lot of first dates, no second dates. And I don't really know. Does that say more about me or more about them? I don't know, but I've sort of become like a first date weapon, like a one and done weapon. I'm like Zion Williamson or RJ Barrett. I've become like an AJ DiBonza type of archetype. I've become a Darren Peterson type of archetype. You could even say I'm like LaMelo Ball at Spire. I don't even play high school. I go 1 year in Lithuania and I'm done. I have evolved into the Zion Williamson archetype and I've become a one and done. A lot of first dates, not a lot of second dates. But Zion Williamson is making $30 million a year. I have evolved into the one and done archetype. And look, does it say more about me? Does it say more about her? I guess it depends who you ask, right? There's two sides to every dinner date. And I have one, she maybe has one. But at the end of the day, nothing matters more than putting up shots. Okay? Because it's like trading new pairs. It's like meme scope, okay? Is that you have to trade infinite slop and garbage until you finally see the Trump coin pop up on your meme scope to know you found the one, okay? I think dating is a lot like meme scope, okay? You have to filter through the bundles and the scam coins and the slop to finally find the Trump coin. Okay? And that is all I was doing yesterday. Is I was Cupsy mode in VC getting up reps. It was like me and my date yesterday was like Cupsy, the Duve, Cooker, and Rasmer in VC just putting up shots. Okay? Bitcoin 65K. Solana's $80. There's no volume on chain. But they're still in VC for 12 hours a day just buying shit. They're buying coins. For what? They're not making money. Buying shit. They're buying coins. And that's kind of how I'm thinking about these dates. Is like, I'm just going to just like suss out how I think a dinner date's supposed to go. It's like I'm just buying pre-bonded, just seeing what happens. So look, that's my love life. That's all the updates you get. We have market stuff to talk about, but it's like I'm Cupsy in real life. Heart and commitment. Run the damn ball. And here's the one thing I'll say about this date. It relates to what I'm about to talk about. Is the girl's asking me like, so what do you do? Like, what are you interested in life? And well, first of all, I'll say one thing. Definitely don't open a dinner date with what's your most controversial take. It's not a good place to start. Okay, but I'll say this and we'll move on because I'm gonna evolve it into what we're gonna talk about today because we're gonna talk about Pam Bondi. We're gonna talk about Anthropic and fucking Alex Finn. She's asking me like she actually was asking me what is your favorite what's your favorite vernacular that you've added to your bag in 2026? And I was like, are you sure? And I said somewhere in between jester gooning, frame mogging, and slop, but probably slop. And she looks at me like, I'm like, you wanted me to answer honestly, right? She's like, yeah, okay, what does that mean? Like, where did you get that? And I'm like, oh, like, okay. And so I went into this whole, I mean, let's just talk about it. I went into this whole thing about how culture from 2020 to 2025 basically stopped. Okay. And the reason culture stopped is when people are afraid to step on toes and offend people, you don't push boundaries. You don't get clavicular when we're like peak woke. And so culture, new lingo, new style, new everything, basically just like pause. I'm going deep into this like discussion. And so I basically told her that 2026 on is actually the beginning of the start of the Roaring 20s. And culture is back, except this time, instead of being dominated by like artists and wokeists, it's being dominated by internet autists. And she says, what is an internet autist? And I said, okay, have you ever heard of the word Foid? She said, what did you, I'm like, okay, forget the Foid thing. I started talking about internet autists, and she's like, what does that mean exactly? And I'm like, okay, well, I guess just to like understand where I'm coming from, I'm terminally online. And she's like, okay, well, I'm not. I'm like, okay, but I am terminally online, and I love being terminally, like I love being terminally online. By the way, I just want to let you know, I'm being like 100% serious. I actually, at the beginning, I was gassing. I'm being 100% serious. This exact conversation. I said, look, I am really terminally online and I love being terminally online. And she's like, okay, what does that mean? And I'm like, okay, like I spend significantly more time microwaving my brain on Twitter than I do like being outside or in like real life. And she's like, okay, well, I don't. I'm like, okay, well, I do. And that's where I got jester gooning. And that's why I called you a Foid. And that is where I got, this is why culture's back. This is why we're in the Roaring 20s. It's because I'm terminally online. And she's like, okay. So what do you do? And I'm like, we're moving on. Anyways, that's how my day went. I didn't get a second date. By the way, I'm completely serious. I didn't say jester gooning, but I said slop was my favorite word. And she said, use it in a sentence. And I said, okay, you see that guy over there? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, he's wearing streetwear slop. She's like, could you use it in another like example? And I'm like, yeah. And so we're at this like kind of like mid Japanese restaurant, and there's just like, dude, all they had was like skewers. By the way, Claudebot gave me this reco for this restaurant, and this shit was ass. And so all we have is like 100 skewers on the table. And I'm like, this is just like Japanese slop, like complete food slop. This is complete food slop. She's like, oh, okay, I get it. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And so that was it was a good convo. I walked her home, and she's like, oh, I get it. Yeah. And then, so the last thing we did on our date is, I told her, I'm like, I'm big into this ins and out. I did this. I was like, okay, the conversation stalled out. I'm like, all right, I did an ins and outs list for 2026. And she said, no way. Can I read it? And I'm like, well, it's long. And I was like, it's long. She's like, no, I really want to read it. Please, can I read it? And I'm like, all right, fine. And so I give her the list, and she's like scrolling it, but she's not reading to me what she's reading. And she's like, what do you mean drinking and driving is topped? And I'm like, oh, drinking. And she's like, no, what does topped mean? And I'm like, oh, okay, topped is like the top of the trend. Like the GOP is topped. And she's like, what's the GOP? I'm like, oh, like the great, like the count, like we were woke in America for a while, and there was like this counter trend of like Republicans, and like now I think it's like top, like the Epstein fought. All right, look, we got a lot to talk about, and it has a lot to do with the GOP, the great old party. It has a lot to do with the GOP, and we're gonna get into it. So that's the date. I walked her home. Gran, you know what I meant. I walked her home, and she was like, "You want to go to the hotel bar?" And I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, I got to interview Alex Finn tomorrow. She's like, should I know who that is? I'm like, you know what Claudebot is? She's like, what's Claudebot? I'm like, do you know what ChatGPT is? She's like, oh, like the AI slop. I dapped her up. And we go to the hotel bar and we get up there and it's like closed. And you tell me, do you think she knew it was closed? I think no. I think no, but maybe she did, maybe she didn't. No, it was closed. But regardless, we walk up there and so we ring the elevator to go up. And like there's 4 elevators in the back left one opens. And I start to walk. She's like, no, we can't go in that one. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, no, I'm trying to ride every elevator before I leave the hotel. And I only haven't gone to the back right. So we sit here like clicking the elevator. We go in and we send it up and then we're like clicking till we get back right. And so we get back right. And I'm like, you're awesome. I love you, right? And so we get back right. And I'm like, you're such a void, Max. I love it. And so we go up to the hotel bar and the hotel bar's closed. And I'm like, okay, like, what should we get into instead? She's like, oh, like, I'll wait for your Uber in the lobby. I'm like, all right, we'll wait for my Uber in the lobby. And I left. And I gave her a hug. And you know where I think it went south, by the way? This is the last thing I'll say. We actually have serious shit to talk about. There's ain't shit to smile or laugh about because nothing is funny to laugh about. But we're walking down the street and we're crossing the street and there's like a plastic bag floating in the street. And I just met this girl. We're walking to dinner and she picks up the bag. She takes 4 steps to the right, picks up the bag and throws it in the trash. And I looked at her and I'm like, I said, I'm obsessed with you. I said, that's the greatest thing you've ever done in your life. Is what I said to her. That's the coolest thing you've ever done in your life. And she's like, ever? And I'm like, no, it's like an expression. Like I said, she's like, ever? I'm like the bag of trash I picked up off the street in New York City is the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. And I'm like, so maybe that's where I went south 5 minutes in, but it is what it is. And I say all that to say I'm in my Zion Williamson era. And yeah, okay, the point I was going to make to move this on is that, look, I am terminally online and I have fried my brain. And I think that this is one of those things like we talked about yesterday in the flow that you just have to, you're just committing to frying it or not. And man, I like that my brain is fried. I like that slop is my word of 2026. And I think that I don't know. I don't want to stop. So let's move on. We have a lot to, I wrote down this grocery store story about how like I stopped going to the neighborhood grocery store because there's only one worker there and I'm really uncomfortable every time I see the same person every single day. We make eye contact and she always has to ask me the same question. Do you have an account with us? And I don't, but I'll skip that story about how I don't go to the grocery store anymore because it's the same person every time. And on a serious note, I have serious shit to talk about. Okay. Here's what I want to start is we didn't cover this yesterday because we were talking about how Claude was changing the world. But I'm going to be honest. I had a full-blown crash out this morning. Okay. And before we talk about crypto, which is not good, but metals are worse, so doesn't really matter. Before we talk about crypto, I want to talk about this Pam Bondi situation. Okay. Pam Bondi, the attorney general, there was this hearing yesterday about the Epstein files. And dude, I'm going to be honest. It was one of the most absurd listens I've ever heard in my entire life. And I actually have to wind down for a second here. But 2 weeks ago, if you're on stream, I did this whole crash out about the Epstein files. And I just couldn't understand why everyone was trying to make it seem like it wasn't that big of a deal. And I was adding it to the list of the 19th thing that would make people have complete just distrust and lack of faith in America at large, but specifically the US markets, and how I was feeling this sort of panic, right? And then Bitcoin gets destroyed and it takes away the focus from, oh my God, America is a slop disaster into, oh my God, crypto's a slop disaster. But then the first thought is like, no, maybe crypto isn't a slop disaster in a silo, but crypto is sniffing out the rest of the world as a slop disaster. And so we kind of like Epstein files, they dropped the new files. Now we're talking about it again. And this hearing comes out. And I'm going to watch a couple minutes of the Atrioc version of it because I think it's really good. And I'm going to read some tweets on it because I'm kind of in a geeky mood. I'm in like a giggly mood now because I just told you a kind of ridiculous story that was real. But I spent this whole morning like kind of in shambles a little bit, like crashing out. And this deep feeling of I don't really know what to do. I don't really know what to do or what to hold. And I think that everybody else should feel what I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to read you a tweet from Quinn Thompson, and then we're going to watch the video and we're going to discuss it for a little bit before we get on to AI, how Anthropic had one of the biggest raises ever and the world's actually fine. But before we talk about how the world's actually fine, we're going to talk about how the world's a disaster. Okay? Quinn Thompson. Last tweet on this for now, I promise, but for whatever reason, this is standing out to me as one of those moments everyone will look back on as the start of an impending disaster that will look obvious in hindsight. Quote, the Dow is over 50,000. The S&P is near 7,000. The NASDAQ is smashing records. That's what we should be talking about. We have the sitting head of the U.S. Justice Department obstructing justice for the most heinous of heinous crimes. By her logic, all crime is legal, then which is a pretty bold implication from the chief law enforcement officer of a country. There is so much more to this statement than meets the eye, and it embodies so much of how politicians have ruined the system. If an all-time high stock market price absolves all wrongdoing, then you just print, since the government effectively controls nominal stock prices via a currency debasement and money creation. Okay? Honestly, there is no amount of tweets you could have read that would prepare you for what you're going to listen to in this video. This hearing happened yesterday. We're going to watch 5 minutes of it. All you have to watch is 5 minutes. Okay? Keep in mind, for context, Adrian will explain it better than I will, but this is a hearing for the Epstein files. Okay? This isn't like a random open court public town hall. This is a hearing for the Epstein files. There's like 30 of the victims in the background as well. Okay? Watch this video. 5 minutes. It's I think as a person that trades markets, it's important to understand the scale of this right now. It's important to watch this.
Like a pretty monumental day.
Let's watch it.
Catch everybody up. I feel like everyone is hearing bits and pieces of what's going on, and they're obviously angry. And we obviously
So it's yesterday, by the way. So we didn't talk about it yesterday as it was happening.
want more information on the Epstein files. But I want to like put it in a kind of a timeline or an order so that you can understand how insane what's going on really is. So, but first, I want to tell you what happened today. So today, Pam Bondi, Attorney General, had a hearing with
Attorney General.
with the House and Congress. It was 5 hours long, where they basically grilled her on the piss poor management of the Epstein files. Weird redactions, not talking to victims, the way they've been delaying, obfuscating, hiding, the way they've been redacting powerful people, unredacting victims' names. All of this stuff came up, and Pam Bondi was grilled from basically every direction. And
I'll save my takes on the Epstein files, but man, it is just such a disgrace. It's a disgrace. I'll save it. It's a disgrace. The fact that we've hardly seen anything I'll save it. I'll save it. Disgrace. Disgraceful.
Horrendous. It was horrendous. I'll play you some clips, some of which you may have seen. But really, you do not need context to understand this is an insane way to respond.
Have you apologized to President Trump? Have you apologized to President Trump? All of you who participated in those impeachment hearings against Donald Trump, you all should be apologizing. You sit here and you attack the president, and I am not going to have it. I'm not going to put up with it.
Like, these are questions about, like, why are you unredacting victims' names? Why are you covering up the names of powerful men involved? And she's like, you're attacking It's crazy.
Insane.
Then she tries to pivot to, like,
we're gonna watch 5 minutes.
To Donald Trump's economy.
The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000.
This clip will be, if I'm just saying, if fucking D-Day for the American economy ever came, this clip will be cemented in history forever. Do not forget this clip.
I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P
She's about to
is
cry.
7,
She's about to cry.
And the NASDAQ smashing records. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about. We should be talking.
Just to be clear, this is a hearing about the Epstein files. It isn't like an open hearing about anything, and they just happen to bring that up. Everyone here is for the Epstein files. The victims are sitting behind her. Everyone is here to talk about one thing, and she is deflecting to the fucking Dow. This is the Attorney General of the United States being asked direct questions about why we still haven't received the full files. I mean, it is comical in its absurdity. The idea that is a line of attack that her and her team had written down as a way to get out of this.
Like she knew what they were gonna ask. It's a hearing for the Epstein files. She knows exactly what they're gonna ask, and her team went back and was like, okay, when you really get under fire and you get stuck in a spot, Dow price. Pull it up. Keep your phone open. Trading view. This is the number. Dow price.
Deflect to the Dow is crazy.
Talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about, what does a Dow have to do with anything? That's
Talking about making Americans safe. We should be talking about the fucking Dow.
what they just asked. Are you kidding?
Mr. Jordan, Mr. Jordan.
Committee will be in order.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman
Mickey
from
Mouse
Texas.
asked court, bro.
The Attorney General can respond.
Thank you.
These are the most powerful people in the United States government, by the way. These are the people that run our country.
The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy.
Back
they
to it?
said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year.
Crazy. This is fucking crazy. It was a true fucking clown show. By the way, it was revealed. Reuters got a picture of it, but
By the way, Ape, it gets worse. We're gonna watch a couple of minutes. When my date asked me what is Jester Max gooning, I played her this fucking clip.
her binders here and the binders of her associates
worse
in the
than you
background
think.
were not filled with like detailed facts and statements on the case so that she could knowledgeably answer the questions. They had tabs of all of the people who'd be asking questions and like burns to them. It was like insults tailored to them based on what, like zingers. It's like a fucking burn book. This guy even pointed it out.
Because I'm curious, and I'd like to see, flip to the Jared Moskowitz section of the binder. I'm interested to see what staff provided on the oppo on me, and because we're in the Olympics, I'm gonna give it a grade. I just want to see how good it is. So give me your best one.
So people were pointing it out, but I mean, you could see like
Hearing for the Epstein files, bro.
screenshots of like little dunks. You claim to be a social justice warrior, but you're a member of, you're against dark money. It's like, none of it is like real substantive attorney general level understanding of this important judicial issue, which is the release of the Epstein files that you have been blocking for going on a full, I mean, actually longer, but let's say under this time, full calendar year now. Trump, by the way, at the same time, during this massive hearing, is tweeting about great jobs numbers, far greater than expected, and how the United States of America should be paying much less on its bonds. I mean, there's so much wrong with it.
Notice how they dropped the job and how we crushed jobs. That was entirely unexpected on the same day of the hearing that they just deflect entirely.
I don't even want to go into it because it's not an economics video, but the United States of America only sets interest rates on short-term bonds, not the long terms that we borrow at. And certainly if we were cutting interest rates now, it wouldn't save us
watch
$1
a couple
trillion
minutes.
per year.
And I have takes.
All of this is completely made up. I know it's like a shocker that President Donald J. Trump might lie, but all of this is mumbo jumbo nonsense. Golden age of America is upon us, yeah. Additionally, we had other questions that really cut to the heart of the matter.
Former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties.
Pay attention. Please watch this. Apewood, watch this.
We had other questions that really cut to the heart of the matter.
Former Prince Andrew, Donald Trump attended various parties with Jeffrey Epstein. I want
you to understand, this question that you're about to hear is a very simple yes or no question, but her answer to it defines the full 5 hours.
Watch this.
Which is she has asked a lot of direct yes or no questions and see how she responds.
I want to know, were there any underage girls at that party or at any party that Trump attended with Jeffrey Epstein?
This is so ridiculous, and that they are trying to deflect
Who's trying to
all the
deflect?
great things Donald Trump has done. There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that. This has been the most transparent presidency. He's the one that asked that those files
I'm claim my time.
be
I got
released.
your answer. You said there's no
President
evidence.
Trump asked
Chairman, please stop the clock.
to
Please stop the
sign
clock.
the legislation. This is
Time
ridiculous.
belongs to the gentleman from California.
Okay. I'm going to put up another document from a witness who called the FBI's National Threat Operations Center because I believe you just lied under oath. There is ample evidence in the Epstein file.
Don't you ever accuse me of a crime.
I believe you just lied under oath, and this is on videotape. You said there's no evidence of a crime. I'm showing you. Here is a witness statement who called into the FBI's Threat Operations Center. He drove Donald Trump around in a limo. He overheard what Donald Trump said to Jeffrey on his cell phone. He was so angry, he was going to stop a limo and hurt Donald Trump. And he met a girl who said she was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. She later had her head blown off, and officers at the scene said that could not have been suicide. No one at the Department of Justice interviewed this witness. You need to interview this witness immediately. Epstein should rot in hell, so should the men.
Anyway, it's honestly sickening, and the entire 5 hours just made it so apparent. It's already, we knew this, but it's so apparent that this is like a not even well coordinated, a ramshackle, desperate cover-up attempt for a lot of powerful people, but specifically one of them is Donald Trump. And the reason it's all happening is because of his power. The other people don't have power over her specifically, but he has power over her. And it ended, again, the 5 hours were mostly similar to this.
This is the last part we're watching, I think.
It ended with all of the victims being asked.
To the survivors in the room, if you are willing, please stand. And if you are willing, please raise your hands if you have still not been able to meet with this Department of Justice. Please know for the record that every single survivor has raised their hand.
She refused to look at them, refused to apologize, refused to indicate in any way that the goal of her DOJ is to get actual justice, to interview.
Okay. Obviously, this hearing takes a turn for the dark. But the clip from this is the Attorney General responding to questions about the files and saying questions at a hearing for the files, by the way, and saying, stop asking me this fucking slop garbage. The Dow is over $50,000. They said it could never happen. President Trump made it happen. How dare you? And man, you know, one of the things that you, as someone that is not that deep politically, one of the things that I feel like you're just feeling with this admin right now is that they have just, it's not that these things weren't happening before, okay? It's not like they weren't focusing on these things before. It's not like weird, dark, fuckery shit wasn't happening before, but they pulled the curtain down, okay? And they showed you how the fucking sauce was made. They showed you how meat was made for the first time, and it's disgusting, okay? And so it brings me to this, which is, by the way, so you just listened to that clip. It's one of the craziest clips you've probably ever seen in your life. And here's the follow-up. This guy, Pledador, who is, I'm not a huge fan of, but tweets, if you're mad at Pam Bondi, realize that Pam Bondi's performance today was for an audience of 1. Trump is probably the only person on earth who watched her testimony today and thought she did a great job. And so I thought to myself, dude, he's a lunatic, but there's no way, like, even Trump can't defend that shit, right? Even Trump can't defend that answer. The clip is so bad, it doesn't matter if it's out of context or not. Even Trump can't defend that. And so right after I read this tweet, I see this rapid response from President Donald J. Trump, and it reads as such: AG Pam Bondi, under intense fire from the Trump deranged radical left lunatics, was fantastic at yesterday's hearing on the never-ending saga of Jeffrey Epstein, where the one thing that has been proven conclusively, much to their chagrin, was that President Donald J. Trump has been 100% exonerated of their ridiculous Russia type charges. What? First of all, fantastic. Second of all, Russia? Actually, it is the slimeball Democrats, many of them big donors and politicians, that have been proven guilty. Dude, I don't know. I just like read that and I watched this clip, and then the only takeaway you can have from it is this. Is Bondi using the current price of the Dow as a legal defense should be the most obvious top in recent memory, TBH. And then what do you know? Today, this is $5,000 on the Dow, or $50,000 on the Dow. Right here. Today. And so, like, all right. The only crash that I could really give you here on this before we move on is just pure vibes. But it's just, the market is terrifying. US market right now is fucking terrifying. And there is this narrative that I feel that Trump admin is trying to force really hard. She even said it, that markets are exploding and everybody in America is rich and has more savings than they ever have. And everyone is wealthy and everyone is doing well. And the American population is thriving. And I don't know. I look around and I talk to people and I see narratives on Twitter and I see people are talking about, and that is just like unequivocally not the take whatsoever. And dude, for some reason, I am just actually disgusted about this Epstein file thing. Okay? And the reason I'm disgusted by it is because, look, I think it's like been the case that people have known that elites that run the country like do weird stuff. This isn't a new take. It's not like a new conspiracy. There's powerful people doing weird stuff. Okay? But it's supposed to be like theater. It's like Roman plays, and it's theater, and it's this like game of cat and mouse, and you're performing, and you're like doing weird stuff in the background, and you're like singing song and dance in public, and everyone's sort of under the trance. Okay, but when you pull the trance away and you put it on a billboard in fucking Times Square, that basically every single powerful person amongst every single vertical that runs America is somehow wrapped up into this thing, and then you broadcast it. But you broadcast it just enough where everyone's aware, but not enough where you get the full picture, but enough where you can realize what's under that rock is a fucking ridiculously large anthill. And you basically just tell everyone that they're fucking stupid. That's what you're doing. That's what these Epstein files are, right? It's like Democrats had it for 4 years. They didn't fucking release them. It now took us like 2 years to release a 1% fully redacted version of it. And the 1% fully redacted version of it is honestly, in my opinion, so nuclear. It's hard to process the second and third order effects of this. And then you think to yourself, what the fuck is left? Like, what is part of the rest? And then at the same time, you deflect. You try so hard to distract everybody from it and gaslight people by saying, like, the market's good, so why do you care about what's going on? And then you just call everyone fucking retarded. That's what you do. And then you piss people off, right? Then you make you, because you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that. But now you just call everyone stupid. And there's this feeling I just can't shake where it just feels like American culture is just permatopped. And I'm not a doomer at all. I'm fucking patriotic as hell. I love my country. I'm so grateful to live in America and to like be part of be able to live in New York City and like be part of this like prosperous nation. All of these things are absolutely true, but at the same time, it just is like a bad time to be a burger right now, dude. It's a bad time to be a burger. And you just like look around and it just feels like there's this collective loss of faith in the social contracts and the social like construct of how everything works. There's a loss of faith in the traditional path, go to college, get a job, buy a house, have kids, start a family, be able to live off like a single salary. There's this complete lack of faith that like the people in charge and the leaders, probably since COVID on, is going to be able to get us to this prosperous nation. And I can't help but think that there is this level of diminishing returns on the Trump bull post, right? It's like, how much longer could he prop up the markets? If no one has any faith in anything he says and everyone thinks he's a complete, like, most people are increasingly feeling like he's a scammer and a liar and is deflecting and there's all these bad things going on that is not going to get brought to justice. If you don't believe that, then how could you believe like the market bull posts, right? It starts to, these things collide, I think, more than it's getting credit for. And so at the end of the day, the only thing that matters out of this, if we're being honest, the only thing that matters from this is what is the vehicle to express this? What's the trade? And it feels to me like, also keep in mind before I address that, also at the same time, they throw AI into the fucking mix. And so no one has any idea, can you even hold stocks? What can you invest in? What has a moat? Maybe I'm terminally online and I'm too far into a bubble to really realize it, but it feels like there is just mass, no one knows, everyone is running around like a chicken with their heads cut off in the United States. And no one knows what to think, where to think, what to look at, who to look to. And it has to hit a breaking point at some level. And so the only thing that matters then, right, is like, what's the trade? What is our vehicle of expression to express this? And shorting the US economy feels like a death sentence, right? Because you could have felt, I mean, I don't know how many times on this chart have people felt like, oh my God, I'm bearish, this thing's a bubble, it's going to stop. Like, how many times on this chart have people felt like that, right? Even COVID, like, look at this fake ass dump. Shorting this is just like, feels like a mistake, right? Like, let's go weekly. Just like feels like a mistake. And I'm not going to be fucking Michael Burry and come here and like make the hero trade on shorting this. And so it's like, what's the trade? I don't really know. In some sick, dark, twisted way, I've convinced myself it's bullish. This is bullish for Bitcoin. But then somehow Bitcoin is like wrapped up in these fucking files too. Like that somehow happened. That's the new narrative all over Reddit. That Bitcoin's like a pedo coin. That's happened. And so what is it? Is it like long the Korean stock market, which is ripping every single day? Is it long other markets? Is it long like the Chinese stocks? I have no idea what it is. But everywhere I look, I feel like people are trying to convince me that this is not a big deal, and I'm going crazy. And so my only way to respond to that is to lock in and just be a sponge and just like watch the fucking hearings and read the headlines and read the articles and take it as much as I can, because there is a trade here and there is something to do about it. But I can't help but feel this deep level of just being uncomfortable with what's happening in the highest level of the American government right now. Like, it's uncomfortable. That hearing is uncomfortable. You're not supposed to actually hear that. You don't want to hear that. If they're in the background saying, who the fuck cares? We're going to psyop everybody, and this doesn't actually matter. The Dow is at 50,000. That's fine. But to do it in public is like, brother, it's terrifying. So I don't know. We're going to move on from it. But I can't I can't help but have this just like uncomfortable feeling watching that. Like Pam Bondi, that will go down as one of the worst public speaking appearances that's ever happened in the history of the world, I think. I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. So I don't know. That's my take. We're going to move on. Does anyone have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on completely? She's beautiful. She is beautiful, but she ruined my life. Pam Bondi ruined my fucking life. She spiked my cortisol this morning and fucking had me going crazy this morning. Completely spiked my shit. Gave me a terrible morning. I'm out of breath. She's 61. Jesus. She's a lizard, man. How long did she last in her job? Polymarket ? That's actually a really good question. I need to find a better way. I need to do two things. I need to find a better way to articulate what I'm feeling. And the reason I'm coming on stream and just brain dumping that to you is because I feel like it's important to just get it out. And secondly is we ultimately have to figure out what the trade is. Because feeling it is one thing, but the only thing that matters is the expression of what you're feeling, right? It's like, we could be long debasement and we fucking bought Bitcoin instead of gold. It's like, were you really right about debasement? I don't know. So that's where I'm at with it. Hopefully, we're going to spend more time talking about it, but that's all I got today. You could just say you're scared. I am scared. I got some bangers off, by the way, too. But I'm not trying to, like, go too hard on Miss Pam because she's pretty powerful, dude. I'm not trying to, like, ruffle too many feathers with these tweets. This was a good one, I think. Pam Bondi ruined my life. Coinbase earnings are bad. Yeah, we're going to watch the earnings call at 5:30, I think it is. We'll start a little bit late. But all right. Here's the deal. Is in 17 minutes, we have Alex Finn coming on, who is, dude, formerly NFT God. He's kind of the GOAT of AI right now. I'm just going to be completely honest. He's the GOAT of AI right now, and I think it's going to be a really fun interview. So I'm excited to bring him on. Mando says LMAO. Before we do, let's get a little bit doomer. Let's get a little bit doomer about crypto. Let's just fucking crash out today. First, I want to play you this interview. That's all over my feed. Michael Saylor.
90% for the next 4 years, we'll refinance the. If Bitcoin falls 90% for the next 4 years, we'll refinance the debt.
Refinance where, Michael?
We'll just roll it forward.
By the way, my name is Michael, and when I hear her say Michael like that, I get like chill. I got chills down my spine when I heard it for the first time.
If Bitcoin falls 90% for the next 4 years, we'll refinance the debt.
Refinance where, Michael?
You can't hear it or no? I can. Oh yeah, it only plays in 1 ear. Only plays in 1 ear.
We'll just roll it forward. I mean, again.
But you think banks would lend to you at that point?
Yeah, because the volatile.
First time I've heard Taylor voice crack, by the way. Bullshit question, but first time I've heard a voice crack.
At that point?
Yeah, because the volatility of Bitcoin is such that there's always going to be value. Look, you're at 68,000 right now. Literally has to fall to 8,000. Then we just refinance the debt. If you think it's going to zero, then we'll deal with that. But I don't think it's going to zero, and I don't think it's going to 8,000 either. But the credit risk is de minimis at this point.
They shouldn't have said that $8,000 thing. They should not have said that $8,000 thing. You don't give the market a fucking number. Remember Caroline Ellison, brother? Sell me all your FTT at whatever price and fuck off. You don't give the market a number, bro. Now, to get to 8K, I mean, bro. What would have to happen for us to get to 8K? Two things will get us to 8K. I think there's like two things that will get us to 8K. One is quantum happens like now. Quantum happens like tomorrow. The second is, dude, if there was definitive proof that Satoshi Nakamoto is Jeffrey Epstein, we probably go to 8K. Other than that, I don't think anything gets us there. Like, I don't think a nuke gets us to 8K. Satoshi as Epstein would probably get us there. I think. Maybe lower. But other than that, we don't get to 8K. But Saylor coming out and saying a number is just a little bit scary, to be honest. Also, yeah, if Pam Bondi came out and said, why are you guys panicking? Bitcoin's at 65K. That shit is nuking. Okay. But I mean, 8K is like, oh my God. Honestly, if we got to 8K, there's way bigger problems than MicroStrategy. That's just the honest take. If North Korea sent a nuke right now and blew up in New York City, Bitcoin would be higher than 8K. Significantly higher. There would be a red candle, but it would not be 8K. So thankfully the number is really low. And by the way, if it got to 8K, MicroStrategy would just own 100% of the supply. They would just own all of it. They would have all of it. They would just buy all of it. There would be 100% of the supply. It'd be Grant Cardone and Saylor would own all of the Bitcoin at 8K. And I would have my couple. That'd be it. It'd be Grant Cardone and Anthony Pompliano and Saylor. That would be it. Okay, you want to hear a bear post? Let's do a bear post. Let's get dark today. Let's get dark today. Crypto Cred legend should come on the stream. He would come on the stream. Crypto used to be the frontier for speculation. This came in two forms: genuine interest and optimism in the underlying tech and potential use cases, high inefficiency and low institutional professional participation, which resulted in volatility, good trading conditions for retail. That's changed. AI is the frontier for speculation and has many more tangible use cases and impact than crypto in a much shorter time frame. Okay? Crypto has some cool stuff, but the use cases have generally converged towards speculation, and the meme coin cycle, max financial nihilism / crime cycle that brought out the worst of that paradigm. Retail got siphoned into short-lived extractive scams. 2017, we all felt like geniuses for a while. Even after losing money, the temporary wealth effect made us come back to believing we could do better. That's quite different from being sent into a launch pad where the lifespan of a coin is measured in hours and you don't get lucky. And if you don't get lucky, you have inside information down 99% within a day. I think that is definitely true. Like, okay. There's this take that I just can't help but thinking is absolutely the talent that once was on the bleeding edge of tech, that was speculating, or that was like building on the bleeding edge of tech, was in crypto. It's not right now. It's gone to AI. And one could speculate, one could say that the mandate of heaven that once shined bright over the cryptocurrency industry has been moved over to AI. Okay. It's what it feels like, whether it's short term or not. But the one thing that I can't get out of my head, is that despite crypto's best efforts to destroy the industry from the inside out, like a bunch of fucking termites rotting the inside of the wood, despite crypto's best effort to ruin and just burn down anything that has any semblance of use case or value in the world, I have seriously convinced myself it's just gonna win. And it's gonna win because crypto just so happens to be the greatest possible vehicle and financial rail that you could construct if you lived in a sandbox and could play God in a world where agents run the internet. This is what I've convinced myself. Okay? And here's a really good tweet that I'm going to read to you. I'm sorry I'm doing a lot of reading today, but it's important. I believe that despite crypto's best efforts to destroy the industry, it is just the perfect creation for the world that we're about to go into, and it is going to win despite trying so goddamn hard to lose. Trying, I mean, ever so hard to lose. Trying the hardest to lose, and it's still not going to lose. That's how superior the technology is to what we currently have. And here's what I'm going to read you. The tweet is from a guy named The Short Bear, who is more bullish than 99% of the people I see in my crypto Twitter timeline. And more often than not, if there's a fellow that by the name of The Short Bear that is more bullish than you, I think it is a reasonable time to take a good hard look in the mirror and think about what you care about and what you're here for. Okay? Here's a tweet. It's kind of a long tweet, but it's an important one. Quote, "It feels like much of the world still views crypto as little more than gambling, meme coins, speculation, and short-term trading." Mind you, this is not like a big crypto native guy. This is a trader who happens to be interested in crypto. But that perception reflects the crypto cycle of 1 or 2 years ago. What's actually unfolding now is a steady expansion into stablecoins, tokenization, on-chain settlement, privacy infra, and real financial rails. The speculative layer may dominate headlines, yet underneath it, foundational infrastructure is quietly scaling. Ironically, the volatility and beta from the more speculative segments have helped pull attention and liquidity into the broader ecosystem. But that same beta also obscures what's legitimate. When I compare crypto's beta to traditional software, it feels like consensus still isn't recognizing how much the playing field has shifted. Across nearly every meaningful metric, stablecoin supply, transaction settlement, tokenized assets, developer activity, the Web3 economy is at or near all-time highs. Yet the narrative still compresses everything into one bucket. It increasingly feels like consolidation is occurring around Bitcoin and ETH as the core infra layer of Web3, while networks like Solana, Hyperliquid, and others are primarily optimized for trading velocity and speculation. Payments and transactional activity may flow through those higher speed venues, but the foundational infra itself appears mispriced relative to its structural importance. Basically, the crypto tech is fucking important. It's changing the financial rails as we know them. We only know how to price it as speculative scams. Therefore, we are nihilistic and our price targets are fucking bearish. In short, the market seems to be valuing the casino more visibly than the settlement layer, while the latter continues compounding underneath. To me, funny enough, crypto is one of the most logical hedges on the AI robotics economy that's exponentially scaling into reality. If the transformation takes place, the equivalent infrastructure to the old economy is Web3 rails. If AI robots need to pay, communicate, authenticate, be transparent, be rules-based, and alike, there is only one answer. Happy to hear pushback. Threadguy replies, really good take. I believe now more than ever, even though things are fucking bearish, I have very little exposure to any alts. The only coin I hold is Bitcoin. It feels now more than ever that crypto is just going to be a legitimate beneficiary of what's coming with the AI narrative. And it's just going to play out. It is just going to play out. Crypto has product market fit as the money of the internet. And the importance on the internet, if this agent thing really takes off, if OpenClaw is as good as we fucking think it is, it's just going to use crypto. I don't know how. I don't know if we deserve this. I don't know what exactly we did to put ourselves in this spot. It almost feels like we got here on accident. Like it wasn't that long ago. The only thing we were talking about is meme coins and speculate on everything and tokenize the world. And we were not talking about agentic commerce and agent payments and all of these things. But here we are. AI is accelerating, and somehow, some way, crypto finds itself in the conversation every single day. And so I feel like I talk about this a lot right now, but man, it just is the God narrative. And wherever we sit, somewhere in this chasm, on this spectrum of the intersection of artificial intelligence and crypto, is just where you want to sit. If crypto gets hotter, we do crypto. If AI gets hotter, we do AI. I don't know exactly what we do. We fucking do both. Are we AI guys? Are we crypto guys? No. We are speculative entertainment is what we are. And man, I can't help but feel like we, by no efforts of our own, are going to get fucking bailed out. Talk about the bailout of a century, man. The bailout of a fucking... you could live 100,000 generations and not witness a bailout as extreme as the one crypto is about to get from AI. I'm talking like the bailout. I'm talking like Chris Webber calling a timeout at the end of the fourth quarter at Michigan type of bailout. I'm talking about I'm talking about, I don't even know how to articulate it. And so basically where I'm going with this is that if you're long risk right now and you believe in this crypto cope thesis, we're down to our last cope thesis. If you really believe this one, then we need every single new model release to get a step function better. We need OpenClaw to actually take over the world. And we need these labs to keep raising more money, okay? Anthropic just announced $30 billion raise. Gemini DeepThink just dropped, and it's better than Opus 4.6, allegedly by a significant margin. That also just dropped. OpenAI just announced this thing called Spark. It's like Codex, but it's really fast. The developers swear by Codex. That's better. Cdance, the Chinese video model, just dropped. It's better than whatever we had. All you can hope for is this thing to accelerate. Okay? Gemini DeepThink frame-mogged Opus 4.6. That's all you can hope for. I'm going to be honest, man. I hate to be that hype boy, but my OpenClaw is fucking good. And even if it wasn't good, I would come on here and I would lie to you and tell you it's good because Lord knows we need it to be fucking good. Okay? The last thing I'm going to read you before we get Alex Finn, the official CEO of OpenClaw, not actually, but he might as well be, is this right here. Okay? This right here. Peter Steinberger, the creator of OpenClaw, which is, I don't know the exact way to articulate this, but one of the most nuclear, fastest growing AI tools ever created by an individual, like non-lab created tools. It's it's taken the AI world by storm, legitimately. I hate to be that guy, but it has. Announced he went on Lex Friedman the other day, this morning, I think it dropped, and it said he's losing 10 to 20K a month on OpenClaw, and he's set to partner / get acquired by either OpenAI or Meta. And so me, being the crypto moon boy I am, quote tweeted and said that the hottest AI tool that has genuinely changed the world, and the only way to not lose 240K a year is to get acquired, not sustainable. Obviously, every AI dev will launch a crypto token. Now, is that what we want? I'm not sure. But what I'm saying is we're rapidly approaching a future where software is more commoditized than it already is, and everyone everywhere is making incredible software. It's fucking viral. A lot of it is open source, and the people that are making some of the best technology in the world have no way to monetize. And look, we have no real good way to monetize them either. Our tokens are kind of a disaster. Is it equity? Is it a labs? What does it mean? What are the tokens? It's kind of a disaster. Is it bags app? It's kind of all a mess. But I do believe deep in my soul that crypto is product market fit as the money of the internet, and it's the best. I don't know if it's the best. It's the fastest way to monetize software, okay? And I do know that Matt PRD, that launched Moltbook, made $2.5 million in 48 hours. And if he didn't launch that crypto token, Matt PRD would have made $0 in 48 hours from Moltbook, which is now over, and now it's probably never going to be heard from again. And for 48 hours, it was the hottest thing in the world. He would have made not a fucking penny. And so I just remain optimistic that the further AI develops and gets integrated into culture, the further crypto will sneak its way into the bundle. Whoa, this tweet went really viral, huh? I got like an Elon quote tweet or something. Why did this go so viral, huh? That's crazy. Anyways. On this topic, we have probably the single best guest that we could get on to talk about what's going on in AI and in OpenClaw and how good it is. My biggest question is, has anyone fucking built anything? This is what I really want to know. How real is this? How real are the use cases beyond a personal assistant, and where is this thing going? So Alex Finn is going to be joining us. Once he's off, we're going to watch the Coinbase earnings. And man, we're just going to have a good stream like we do every fucking day. Also, who retweeted it? Who retweeted it? NYC person retweeted it? Who? All right, I'll be back in 30 seconds. Luke, send him in. BRB. My friends, let's go. It's time for Alex Finn, okay? Quick little YouTube intro. The following is a conversation in an interview with Alex Finn about OpenClaw, everything that's happening on the development side of AI, and where this is all going. I would argue he is one of, if not the single deepest person on advancements and being on the bleeding edge of what's going on and everything AI. And he's absolutely the leading content creator on that front. So if you have any questions, if you're watching on Twitter or YouTube and you want to chat, the only chat I read is twitch.tv/threadguy. Alex Finn's an old friend, man. I've known this guy forever. Used to formerly NFT God. OGs know. And if you have any questions, if you want to chat, if you want to ask him anything, pop into the Twitch. We got probably 45 minutes to an hour with him. And we will be watching Coinbase earnings after. Let's fucking get it. Let us fucking get it. 1 second, sir. Let me pop this. And boom. Alex Finn, welcome to the stream, man. How are you, dude?
Red, my man, good to see you. I'm doing well, bro.
Dude, it's been a while, huh?
It's been a while. This will be the stream all the haters on X cry about. This is the one they've been waiting for.
Dude, your setup is insane, by the way. You fucking leveled up. Things look good. Like, camera quality is crispy. Like, got the Penti going on. Like, I like it, man.
Dude, the last 2 weeks have been crazy. I've gone out, I've upgraded everything. The cameras, the microphones, everything. It's like my YouTube doubled. Everything's gone nuts.
Dude, I texted you this, but I had been seeing OpenClaw stuff everywhere. I've been seeing it from Frank and a lot of the people sort of on the bleeding edge of this. And I finally was like, all right, fuck it. Let me set this thing up. And so I went on the Alex Finn YouTube page. I watched your video. I got set up. And I'm like a week into the trance of OpenClaw. We've been talking about it a lot on stream. I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, it's probably the most interesting thing that's happening right now. And you, my friend, why I'm excited to have you on, are probably the most bleeding edge as to what's going on and how to understand exactly what's happening. So can you just start and give me a take on what has OpenClaw like tangibly changed about your life so far?
It has automated a lot of things in my life. So I discovered it 3 weeks ago. I saw a random tweet about it. No one was talking about it at this point. I read an article. I'm like, this is insane. There's something here to this. I run out, I buy a Mac Mini in 20 minutes after reading this tweet. I come back, plug it in. I'm like, I start using it. Within 10 minutes of using it, I'm like, this is going to change the world. This is going to change everything. I immediately ordered $20,000 worth of Mac Studios to hook this up and do like insane things with. So I have like a Mac Studio on my desk right now that it's running on, and it's just automating basically everything I do in my life. So for instance, right now I have a local model. So one of the best things you can do with like good hardware, like a Mac Studio, is you can run powerful local models, right? And for anyone watching who doesn't know what a local model is, it's an AI model that's on your device. Right now, usually when you talk to like ChatGPT, it connects to the internet and sends the AI back and forth. This is all running on my device. And what it's doing locally is it's constantly looking at X and seeing what's trending about OpenClaw, seeing what's trending about Claude Code, figuring out if there's anything new or interesting being said, and then turning it into YouTube scripts and tweets. So I basically have a 24/7 for free, because it's running locally, AI assistant, like constantly scouting X and Reddit for trending things on OpenClaw. And that's just like one of 100 different things I'm doing right now.
So I took some inspo from you. I saw you make this clip and you were talking about how anytime a competitor or someone in a similar lane posts a video, it's like transcribing it and telling you like what you should talk about, what they cover that you don't cover, things like this. I started doing it for my content, and it's pretty sick.
Go.
You know what I think is funny is like, I'm known to do this on the content side as well, is that you sensationalize headlines a little bit. I do this with my titles every day. It's like AI changed the world, or crypto is going to be bottom. And so it's hard to tell when you actually mean what you're saying, or it's like a little bit sensationalized for clickbait. But dude, I think like day one, you came out and you were like, no, like OpenClaw is actually going to change the world. And my question for you is like, why? And like, did you actually mean it, or is it just a headline slop?
A few things. Number one, I mean everything I say. I mean every single thing I say, none of it's lie. Do I do a little bit of jazz hands when I say it? Yes, but that is the game,
of course,
baby. That's the content game. Like when people say, oh, you do everything so extreme, it's like, it's just called like putting energy into things, and people don't want to read your shit if there's no energy. So you either throw a little stank on it and you don't. I throw a little stank on everything I do. So there's that. So I mean everything I say. Do I think it'll change the world? Absolutely. 100%. I went all in on this. So as I told you, like I read about this like 3 weeks ago, and I just went all the way the fuck in. Like I hope I can curse on this live stream, correct?
You can say whatever you want.
Fuck yeah. Okay, good. I just bought like a bunch of hardware. I spent like $30,000 on this shit. And there's a lot of indicators to me that when I saw it, I'm like, okay, I'm going all in, right? Because I've totally pivoted. I was in AI the last year and a half.
Yeah.
But like now I'm all OpenClaw. And there's a few things I noticed that made this completely different. One is, this is the first time I think there's an application of AI that fundamentally changes the way you work, right? Like ChatGPT, for sure, like improved things, made things better, made you faster, you got better intelligence. But I think it just made everything you were doing just a little bit more efficient. I think OpenClaw is the first application of AI where like I truly believe it changes the way I work. I wake up and I already have half my work done for the day. Claude Code's incredible. It just helps me code faster. OpenClaw legitimately does work for me, automates things I've never been able to do before. And now I instantly, after trying it out, and why I went all in like that is like I just saw the vision. I saw where this is going. This is like replacing many, many jobs. We aren't even there yet. It's going to happen. I'm placing a bet even more far-fetched that people aren't really considering, which is I think this leads to everyone buying their own home AI setups where they're all, like everyone's running out and buying Mac Minis right now. That's a very interesting consumer behavior that came out of this. Is like, there's been no other trend in AI where all of a sudden people are just going out and buying computers. Now everyone's got like, it was everyone's gut instinct to go out and buy Mac Minis. Why is that? I think what that signal tells you is people want AI in their home working for them. They don't want it in the cloud. They don't want it living somewhere else. They want full control locally. Because you can run this on a server online, right? You can run OpenClaw on a server for $5. But for some reason, our gut instinct was to go and buy Mac Minis, right? And so I think this is a really interesting trend because it's causing people to go out, spend $600 like it's nothing. And I think it's also a really good signal for like where all this is going after us, where people are buying their own compute and running models locally.
So what is the psychology, do you think, behind people preferring to own their own AI setup and run it locally versus using the server, using it in the cloud?
There's a bunch of things there. I think there's actual functional improvements to doing that. And I think there's psychological improvements to doing that. I think when we've had these fantasies about AI and we watch these movies and read these sci-fi books, the AI is always local. Like, did you ever see Blade Runner 2047 or whatever?
Yeah.
One of the greatest movies, sci-fi movies ever made. And like he has his like AI girlfriend. It's like on the chip in his pocket, right? And he takes it around everywhere he goes. There's something psychologically satisfying and emotional to having artificial intelligence physically present. There's something satisfying to the human psyche about that. And I think that's directly why people ran out and bought Mac Minis. Like you can go on Amazon right now and sign up for an EC2 server instance and get it set up so much quick, but people want it on their desk. They want a physical version of their artificial intelligence. And I think like that's just one side of it, which is psychology. And there's so many functional improvements as well to having it.
So then I guess a follow-up is, why do people need to be running a local model? I'm not doing that. Should I be doing that?
It's something you should experiment with. To run actually powerful local models that can replace a lot of workflows, you need good hardware, right? Like you need, like if you want to run a model that's as good as Opus right now, which is the best AI model on play. Is that what you're using to power your OpenClaw?
4.6, yeah.
That's the best model out there. If you want a local model that runs basically as good as that, you need 2 Mac Studios for $20,000. That's the minimum hardware to run it.
Each or total?
Total.
Okay.
And the advantages to doing that are, one, you don't pay for it. Like you're not paying for tokens. Right now you pay for every token that goes across the internet. When it's run locally, it's free. All you're paying for is the electricity that goes into your computer to do that. So completely free. 2, completely private. Right now, whatever you say to your bot, all the weird, freaky things I know you're saying are going to a server that Sam Altman and Dario and all them can read, and they're using to train their models. Nothing you say is private. Not a single thing. OpenAI right now has the largest record of like private human conversations in history right now that they can just open up and read, right? And so when you run it locally, it's completely private, right? Nothing gets put on the, you can turn off the Wi-Fi and your AI will still work. And then 3, which might be the most important for some people, it's the reason why I pulled the trigger. The fact that you're not paying for tokens means you can literally run your model 24/7, 365, right? You can't do that with Opus. You can't do that with ChatGPT. You'll end up spending $5,000 a month. the fact that you can now run models 24/7, 365 fundamentally changes the way you can use this technology, right? Now I can spin up multiple local models that can just be constantly searching and researching and crunching data and looking on the internet right now, right? Like my model, I'm running GLM 4.7. They just released the GLM 5 today, which is an upgrade, is right now reading X and Reddit nonstop, looking for trends before they happen. You can't do that with web models because you're just paying for every search it does. So the local models just fundamentally change how you can use this technology.
Okay, I wasn't going to go this direction, but I want to get your take on it, is that I've always thought the biggest eventual data breach will be when somebody either hacks into your personal, like Claude or OpenAI chat records or the database at large. Like, how big of a privacy concern is being built up with private conversations people are having? And is that going to be something that the consumer needs to think about as time goes on here?
I mean, there's a lot of privacy concerns with AI. There's quite a bit. I mean, it's pretty much the death of privacy, AI, for many different reasons. One is like, you have to use AI. If you're not using AI right now, you're economically dead, right? You're not creating as fast, you're not producing as fast, you're not creating, like, if you're an engineer not using AI, like, you're dead. You're worthless to companies, right? And so not using AI right now is economic suicide. But at the same time, when you use AI, everything you say and do and think with the AI is now basically public for that company. It's in their servers. Anyone can read it. It trains their models, right? It's no longer private. And then soon, OpenAI is coming out with like their Dime, their device, which is the microphone that will listen to everything. And then now we have Teslas with cameras that are scanning everything, Waymo scanning everything. Basically, there's no such thing as privacy anymore. And so it is a concern, right? And I think it'd be silly to say it's impossible for OpenAI to get hacked. It's not impossible. It can happen. Usually the attacking technology is always more powerful than defending technology, right? And so it's certainly an issue. And one way you can stay safe is you run your intelligence locally and everything you do and say will be private.
I think it's a good take, but there's definitely a more fun conversation here than privacy. So we knocked it out. Here's what I want to know, and I think a lot of people in my chat have this question, is that I would imagine by, February 12th, 2026, everyone has some subscription to some LLM, right? People are using GPT, people are using Opus, everyone has something. Out of that cohort, a smaller percentage has like a Claude Code or is using Codex, like the more sophisticated people have gotten there. But a very small group of people have moved over to OpenClaw. And so my question is, like, if you are already running an LLM or you are using Claude Code, why do you need to go one step further to OpenClaw? Like, what is the difference there?
Well, I don't think they're like competitors, OpenClaw and Claude Code. I think Claude Code is a tool for OpenClaw. I think OpenClaw is a layer above, right? You have Claude Code and Codex, which are, I'd consider AI tools. I wouldn't consider OpenClaw an AI tool. I would consider it like an agent that does work for you. It's like a layer above that uses tools to do things. And so I actually think in the next, probably, if it hasn't even happened already, in the next 2 months, there's more people on OpenClaw than Claude Code, period. I've seen way more normies like adopt OpenClaw than I've ever seen adopt Claude Code. I have a friend who's an accountant. Like I tell him every day for the last year, yo, try out Claude Code. He's like, not for me. He has OpenClaw set up 5 seconds after I told him about it, right? So I think more people use it. Claude Code's the best kind of like agent out there for like one specific task, but OpenClaw can do anything. And it's very easy to figure out and to figure out how to make it do different things. So I think I think it has a way bigger impact on average people's workflows than Claude Code does. Claude Code, like you need to be able to understand what code can impact to use it. But for just straight up OpenClaw, it's like, okay, anything on your computer, OpenClaw can do it. And like, that's much easier for normies to kind of comprehend. So that's why I think it's going to take off way more.
That's crazy that it will, it makes sense that it'll be bigger than Claude Code. I hadn't really thought
it's a general agent, right? It can do it. Claude Code really, Claude Code can technically do anything on a computer. It's just a little bit more complex to do. OpenClaw can literally, you just say, hey, do this, and it just goes and does whatever you need.
So you kind of touched on this, but I think a lot of people like need the creativity boost. It's like what are you using OpenClaw to do that has been the most impactful on your business or businesses?
I'd say the most impactful from a monetary perspective that OpenClaw has done for me is I have it scan every night what people are saying on X about my tool Creator Buddy. So I have a SaaS called Creator Buddy, which is like an AI content tool that helps you find your voice, figure out what to write. And I have it searching online, looking for feedback on like what people are saying about it, what people want out of it. I have it reading like my text. I have like a bunch of people emailing, texting me about Creator Buddy. Hey, can you do this? Can you build this? And I have different feedback channels. And it saw based on feedback and based on what was trending on X, because a lot of people were writing articles or talking about articles because of Elon's contest, that articles were blowing up. And I kind of already had article functionality cooking, but it went in and by itself while I was sleeping, built out more article functionality in Creator Buddy. And then so I wake up, it sends me my morning report. Hey, I built this based on things I'm seeing. Go check it out and test it. I test the code that it wrote for me overnight. I ship it, and within a week, like my annual recurring revenue went up like $10,000 from people clicking and signing up because of the article functionality, right? And so seeing what people want and building that for me autonomously directly led to revenue for me in my pocket, right? And so that's a big thing for me, and that's helped me a ton.
That last part, wait, how much total revenue do you think it's extra using OpenClaw has brought you? That's insane.
It depends what you mean by that. If you mean on like across way more people watching my YouTube and X, that is multiples. But from straight up work it's done, I mean, 10K annual for Creator Buddy. A lot of people have joined my community based on it. So I'd say at least $10,000 just on the Creator Buddy improvements. If you start counting YouTube revenue and X revenue, that's on another level.
That's fucking sick, actually. That's okay. So I guess the follow up on that is, first of all, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's really, really cool.
Thank you.
How much of your ability to like increase functionality, increase uses, and then increase revenue with OpenClaw is based on the actual work that it's doing versus you having a really large platform and having crazy distribution already? And basically, I guess a better way to frame it is if you don't have this massive platform, can you still get use, get growth, get added functionality into your business from using these tools?
Well, first of all, answer your question. Yes, obviously having a platform helps. Like there's no way around. I'm not going to lie and say, oh no, I would have been this successful if I didn't have. Yeah, obviously having 400,000 followers in X, having their eyes on me, yes, that helps. But let me walk you through what I'm building towards right now with my OpenClaw that I think will help literally anyone who does this use case I'm about to go through. Imagine this scenario. You have your OpenClaw searching through X, searching through Reddit, looking for challenges in your specific niche. Maybe for you, you're really into basketball. You have it looking for challenge. It's going through like the NBA subreddit, the basketball subreddit, things like that. Just looking for challenges people have all night, right? It finds an interesting challenge. It pulls it down. It sends it to the coding agent that works with your OpenClaw and says, hey, build an app that solves this challenge. And he was like, someone's like, oh man, I wish I had an app that could watch me take free throws. And then it gives me recommendations on how to improve my free throw form, right? It takes that, it sees that Reddit post, it pulls it down, it gives it to Codex. Codex builds out that app, right? Ships it, puts it live on Vercel or puts it live in the App Store, whatever. And then your OpenClaw goes back to that Reddit post and says, hey, I built this for you. Here's the link. Right? And then it costs $10 to use it or whatever. I don't see why me having an audience would make that workflow any better. I think anyone watching this, if you set up that workflow now, you could start creating value for yourself. And obviously, if everyone on planet Earth was doing this and there's every Reddit post is, oh, here's your link, the opportunity wouldn't be there, but no one else is doing this. So if you set this up now, there will be a lot of opportunity there. So there's just like little things like that you could set up that I think could provide value even if you have 0 followers.
It's beautiful analogy. And before I ask you about some pro stuff, because I want some personal selfish questions here, can you walk me through like the minimum viable, like the minimum setup that you need to run OpenClaw, like hardware, what models you should be running, like how someone in the chat, what is the optimal way to run this thing cost effectively?
There's a lot of people on X who tell you, oh, just go on Amazon, do this on a VPS. Why do you need to buy a Mac Mini? Do a VPS. I highly recommend against doing a VPS. I do not recommend that for basically anybody, especially non-technical people, because it takes a lot of work to make it extra secure. By default, local hardware, brand new local hardware is secure by default. You have to do bad things to mess it up. With VPSs, it's insecure by default, and you have to do things to make it secure. So just to pretense it, I recommend for everyone watching to have hardware. Now, does that mean you need to go out and buy a $600 Mac Mini? No, I don't think so. Although I do believe Mac Minis are the greatest value in computing by far. Like if I needed a computer today, I'm buying a Mac Mini. But not necessary if you're tight on cash. You could run out right now, if you want to go in your closet and pull out like an old dusty Lenovo laptop from college, you can open that and install that now. This doesn't require any sort of technical hardware to run. So you can take your shit laptop from your closet and run it. If you want to go and buy like a Chromebook for $100, you can. If you want to buy a Raspberry Pi, which is a little more technical to set up, you can do that for like $50, right? So there, as long as you have some sort of computer, it doesn't need to be a Mac Mini, you can run it. Now, I still recommend the Mac Mini anyway for several reasons. One, all my hardware is Apple, my iPhone, my iPad, my MacBook Pro. So like when I do things like, hey, here is a video, read the transcript and generate a thumbnail image, I can go on my phone and airdrop that video to my Mac Mini that has the OpenClaw on it, and it takes it and is immediately able to generate a thumbnail, right? And so that kind of integration makes it much more powerful. If I do something on my iPad, I'm like, oh, I want my OpenClaw to do something with this, airdrop, right? Boom, just like that, I can start doing work with it. So there are advantages to the Mac Mini. If you use other Apple hardware, it integrates really well. I just personally think Mac OS is like the most usable operating system out of all of them too. So I recommend it for that reason as well. But I mean, you can set up anything. And I get a lot of questions. I post the pictures of my Mac Studios just because I think people like to see pictures of expensive hardware. And they're like, do I got to buy a Mac Studio? Do I have to spend thousands of dollars for this? It's like, no, you could if you want. But I recommend everyone who's like a little hesitant to just dip your toes, get the shitty laptop from your closet, install it. If it's for you, if you start to see the magic in the workflows, then you can upgrade to a Mac Mini. Then once you're on a Mac Mini, you're like, oh, I wish I could run a local model to do this workflow, this workflow, and this workflow. Then maybe you upgrade to a Mac Studio, but you don't need to go all in and buy really expensive stuff.
You have a ref link with Apple yet?
Dude, I have made Apple millions of dollars.
I know. I'm genuinely asking. That was not a troll question. Like
millions. No one from Apple has even acknowledged my existence.
That's crazy.
None of these companies talk to me. I don't know what it is.
Maybe this is
I
the
wish
clip.
they were paying
maybe
me.
this next question will be the clip, which is I want pro tips. And so what are the Alex Finn like bleeding edge pro tips on how to get the most out of OpenClaw that most people are not doing?
Here it is. This is actually my most asked question ever. It's like the number one guy. Oh, you always tell people how to set it up, but you never say how to improve our lives. Here's the thing. OpenClaw is basically your 24/7 AI employee, right? And you would never go to someone and say, hey, how do I take advantage of me? I just hired someone. How do I get the most value out of that person I hired? And it's like, first of all, I have no idea who you are. I don't know what the employee you just hired, like what you need them to do. I don't know anything about your life. So you asking me to tell you how to get value out of your employee doesn't make any sense. So here's the solution. Reverse prompting. What is reverse prompting? Reverse prompting is instead of prompting your AI and your OpenClaw and saying, do this for me, do this for me, do this for me, you instead ask it what it can do. Hey, based on what you know about me, what can you do? What do you want to do? This is the situation I'm facing. How would you approach this? And so instead of telling it what to do, you reverse prompt and say, hey, what would you do here? How would you approach this? How would you improve my life? So if you're brand new to OpenClaw, this is exactly what I would do. Number one, brain dump into your OpenClaw everything about you. Your goals, your interests, your career, your personal life, everything about you, just brain dump it in there. OpenClaw has an incredible memory system, so it will remember everything you say and include it as context. So it's going to know everything about you and your career, brain dump everything about your goals, right? My goals, I want to hit 1 million on YouTube. I want to hit 1 million on X. I want to grow my SaaS to $1 million ARR, right? So now it knows my goals. And now that it knows everything about you, your goals, your personal life, your career, you can say, based on what you know about me, what workflows can we set up? What tools can we build on this computer that will bring us closer to those goals? What tasks can you do for me while I'm sleeping that when I wake up and see what you've done, I'd be like, damn, I'm getting closer to my goals because of that. And if you do that exercise, brain dump everything about you and your goals, and then reverse prompt, I promise you, everyone watching this, you will 100% get value out of OpenClaw. I guarantee it. Personal guarantee. That's all you need to do.
It's sick. That's how I started as well. I'm like, just ask me questions so I could even. I'm like, I don't even know how to brain dump. Can you ask me some fucking questions first? And it just starts ripping questions.
That's a reverse. That's great. That's a reverse. Like, the more questions you ask it, the better. I think people's like biggest challenge, not just with OpenClaw, but AI overall, is like, you have this super intelligence, you have the most incredible technology of our lifetimes, and then 90% of people go to it and say, tell me a fart joke. Tell me who you would have voted for in the last election. Like, completely useless horseshit, because they don't have like the ability to creatively think on like how to get value out of it. So you like, the more questions you ask, the more it can do the creative thinking for you.
The analogy I always use is it's the equivalent of showing up in Minecraft creative mode, and you're like, okay, now what? It's a flat land. There's nothing there. You have infinite tools, and you're like, what do I do? Okay, so there was this article that got 75 million views over the last 3 days, right? I'm sure you've read it or had your OpenClaw read it, and I don't know what it's titled. Something big is coming, something like this, and it's basically one of these AI hype boy articles, but something about this one had this context that gave people a visceral reaction of like, oh, I sent it to my dad, I sent it to my mom even, and I don't do that usually, and I had them read it, and they were like, well, that is a sobering read. And I think the thing that really got people was it talks about how 2022 you couldn't reliably ask ChatGPT what's 5 times 7, and then 2023 it passes the bar. 2024, it starts coding and doing crazy stuff. 2025, some of the best engineers are using it as their primary workflow. 2026, it's now coding itself. And so there was a lot of discourse. Is this real? Is this not? My question for you on the back of that article, as someone that's been so bleeding edge on the AI stuff, is like, how good has it gotten and how fast is it advancing? Like, how real is that article?
Yeah, a couple of things. I think it's real, and I think it'll only accelerate more as OpenClaw gets into corporations and businesses, right? Because I think most people who use OpenClaw effectively would agree this replaces a good amount of white-collar jobs. Like, it just does. It's that good. It can do it. The issue is right now, the companies with the white-collar jobs are not using OpenClaw for many reasons. One, they're either laggards, or two, the security isn't there yet, so they're scared to implement it. But that day will come. There is billions and billions and billions of dollars to be made from people figuring out how to get OpenClaw into corporations. And when that day comes, which I believe is in 6 months, a lot of jobs will be lost, in my opinion. So there's two ways to look at this, right? There's kind of the pessimist half of the way to look at this, which is, I'll give you an example. Latest Call of Duty. I haven't played Call of Duty in 5 years because it absolutely sucks. But the latest Call of Duty, they fired their entire art team, right? Because they have like the banners. When you get a kill, it pops up your banner. And they used AI to create all the art for all the banners in that game. It's all AI now, all the art in there. They fired the entire art team, and the art team went nuts. They went on LinkedIn. We hate this. This is terrible. And so there's two ways to look at it. You can read that article and you can be on like the Call of Duty artist side. Where you're like, oh, the job's being taken. My life's ruined. This sucks. Or you can look at it from an optimist view. And now you can be like, okay, if you're an artist working for Call of Duty or a person who got eliminated because OpenClaw got into your company, you can sit there and complain that you're no longer making banner art for Call of Duty anymore. Or you can be like, that technology that just took my job, I can use it to make my own Call of Duty and compete with Call of Duty and build an entire business on that game I build completely by myself with that same exact technology. And so point being is, yes, I think the article is accurate, but it's up to you how you look at it. Do you want to sit there and be a victim and lie down, oh my God, my job's going away because of this tech? Or do you want to look at it where this tech is empowering? I now can take it to build my own business, create my own economic value that has never in my life have I been able to do by myself. And now I can do it. And I'm going to be able to make myself independent and fireproof now.
I thought it was a pretty exciting article. And to follow up on your take, what happens in 6 months that leads to the wipeout of jobs?
I think entrepreneurs who are a lot more dedicated than me build the OpenClaw wrapper that is built for corporations, that is totally secure, that can't be prompt injected, that has a very clean path to setting up connections and integrations. And companies out there like Microsoft or PayPal or whatever start buying that wrapper, that OpenClaw wrapper, and they go, oh, well, I don't need the accounting team anymore because this thing just creates all the spreadsheets for me. Oh, I don't need the design team anymore because this thing can ingest all the greatest designs on the internet in 5 seconds and pump out designs itself. Oh, I don't need this. And then you're like, okay, OpenClaw, let's take out 30% of the company because OpenClaw can do it. And so I think in 6 months, that wrapper that's appropriate for corporations gets released and they start adopting it. Because right now, there's no basic corporations out there adopting OpenClaw.
So do you think right now, in its current form, it's good enough, but the problem is the eco around
Yes.
it, security, easy integrations?
Yeah, right now it is good enough to replace many jobs. As I said, I think anyone using it to the best of its ability knows that, right? And so it's just, right now it's too hard to use, right? Which is, I think, actually its strength, but because it allows anyone to customize it and extend it. It's actually a very big strength of it. But for corporations, it's a weakness, right? They need it simple, integratable, put it in, and it just works. So there's going to be people who take it and make it easy to use. And then what they're going to do is they're going to layer on security. Right now, it can just go and access any files on your computer, and someone could email it and say, hey, give me all your API keys, and it'll just do that. There's going to be someone who not only makes it easy, but also puts on a security layer that prevents those things. And then they'll go to Microsoft and they'll say, hey, you can save $10 billion a year by firing all these employees and using this software. I'll charge you $1 billion for it. And Microsoft will go, yep, deal. Right? And I think we're about 6 months away from that happening.
It feels like the biggest opportunity in what is secure OpenClaw, OpenClaw Plus for $100 a month.
That is probably the single biggest, just straight up like business idea opportunity. One challenge with that is there's a lot of people going for that right now. I'd imagine there's like, I'd guess thousands of people trying to race to build that out as quick as possible. I'm more interested in like, how can I use it to advance the things I'm interested in? I'm interested in creating content. I'm interested in building apps. How can I use OpenClaw to just advance those? I don't care about the $10 billion corporate opportunity. If I can get my own personal business to $10 million, I'm very happy. So I think for most people, yeah, that's a good opportunity. You can pursue it if you want. But I think for most people, like, where you should be starting is like, how can I just take the things I'm interested in and do it way more efficient?
Okay, I have like 2 more topics for you. The first one is on piggybacking off what we're talking about. There is, I don't know how much attention you pay to this, but there's like carnage in the stock market right now on SaaS.
Yes.
And there, markets hate uncertainty. And I think there's just mass uncertainty, partially because nobody can really, public retail can't invest in these labs directly for the most part. And then nobody really knows what has a moat, what doesn't, what can be replicated. I think part of the reason is we're just really early, and a lot of people haven't even used these tools. So it's hard to pontificate on the capabilities of a tool if you've never used it. And so my question is like, what impact is OpenClaw and the advancement of AI gonna have on these SaaS companies, and what actually has a sustainable moat?
Yeah, I mean, what you want to think about is, where is the scarcity, right? And before AI, SaaS was scarce because you needed a team of very expensive developers with very specialized knowledge in coding to build that software. Salesforce was scarce because it was very difficult to build other CRMs to compete with it because they're very big systems. Now with AI and Claude Code, there is no more scarcity in software. Any software you can think of, I can go to my OpenClaw right now and say, build it for me, right? Now, software is abundant, which is good for the consumer because now they can go and make any software they want completely for free, but it's bad for the investor because there's no scarcity there anymore. So where is the scarcity now? The scarcity now is in the hardware because AI hasn't made hardware cheap yet. And so you see a lot of companies like ASML, who is one of the only companies in the entire world who can build like a very specific chip for data centers. They haven't gone down a day for like the last year. They've just like gone up 10x because the scarcity now is in the hardware. And Tesla has gone down a little bit, but it's not down as much as like the other software companies out there because they make hardware that is very scarce. And so as an investor, I think the SaaS bear market is well warranted because what's the scarcity? Why would I invest in Figma when I can spend 2 hours at my desk right now and make Figma myself? What's the point of me giving money to Figma? That doesn't make any sense. But Micron, who makes memory for all these computers in all these data centers and the satellites that will be in space, right? And I can't vibe code memory right now. I can't vibe code a chip for my computer to increase the memory. SanDisk, right? That's where the scarcity is. And that's basically just what the investment market comes down to is like, where's the scarcity and how can you put money into that? And right now, software is not scarce anymore. It's the hardware. And that's why the money is going there.
I mean, it's hard to dispute it. And, you know, the one thing that's difficult about the market, again, it's uncertain. And so even if it does come out that like, yeah, maybe Figma has more of a moat than we thought, it's going to be a time game and you lose a lot of delta in between now and that time. I guess a follow-up on it is like, okay, if we are entering a world where software is a commodity, it's basically free to make, and a lot of it is open source, how do the creators of said software make money from this? Like I saw this clip of Peter Steinberg on Lex Fridman. He just did it, and he's spending 10, 20K a month to run OpenClaw, and he's going to get acquired, I think, by OpenAI or Meta or something like this. But how many acquisitions are there really going to be, right? 50, a couple hundred, I don't know, maybe a lot, but not everyone's going to get acquired. And so if you launch this viral software that you created with AI, like, I don't know if there's a direct answer to this question, but how do you monetize it?
Yeah, I think we are still far away from everyone in the world just building apps when they want it. Yeah. I think we're very far away from like just, oh, I need this software, I'm going to vibe code it right now. So, you know, while I think software is not a good investment in the stock market, I still think there's value in creating software as an entrepreneur, right? And what I mean by that is like, for me, I have Creator Buddy. And like, yeah, technically anyone can go and vibe code something close to Creator Buddy, but it's still doing really well. Why is that? Because I have this brand I built online and the software ties into that brand and takes you on my journey of what I've been preaching. And people want to buy into that and they don't feel like vibe coding with Claude Code. And so there's still value in software. And I still think people should be building software and building apps and putting it out there. Peter Steinberger for himself, I mean, he built something that's free and open source. It's very hard to make money off something that's free and open source. It's just the nature of things. But I still think there's value in you building an app, right? Building an app based on your brand and your experiences and things that'll take people down the threadguy experience. I bet if you put out your own app that's just like that, it would perform very well. And so if people want to make money in software, you got to think about what are like the challenges you can solve that other people have, build them out, and build also at the same time distribution, whether it's X or YouTube or whatever platform you're on, and get the message out that you've built that software. So like, I think on like a micro scale, there's still software is very profitable. On a macro scale in like the stock market, I don't think it makes any sense. But for like solopreneurs and people got laid off from their job, you can sit here and you can vibe code something and then tweet about it all day and get users and make money enough for yourself to live. So I don't think software is dead in that sense at all.
I think it's a great take. And I think that you're right. And okay, here's the last thing I'll ask you and let you kind of sign off with this. A little bit like a philosophical question, but if I saw this tweet the other day, I've been thinking about it a lot. And it's if LLMs, like let's just say hypothetically, LLMs continue their rate of progression linearly over the next 2 years. and they get 2 years better as they have for the prior 2 years, what would you want to spend all of your time doing right now? Like, how should you spend all of your time right now if we could assume the AI is going to continue to get as good over the next couple of years as it's been getting?
I think there's two things you got to do. One is you have to be on the cutting edge of what's out there and just know how to use it. So as it advances and as it gets better, right? I don't know if OpenClaw is the end game of all of this. I don't know if in 10 years, the winner AI agent everyone's using is OpenClaw. It might not be, but I will say this, whatever is the winner in 10 years branched off of OpenClaw, right? It was based on OpenClaw and they added stuff on and that changed. It's based on it. And so what you want is like, you need to be tinkering with the latest thing. You need to be tinkering with OpenClaw because when that winner does come out, that changes the world, that has all that opportunity, you'll know how to use it right off the bat because you're used to other autonomous agents like OpenClaw. So that's number one. That's the number one thing I'd be doing is like just making sure you're using the latest technology the moment it comes out so that you're on the bleeding edge. And number two thing I would recommend to be doing is building distribution because that's going to be one of the only moats left at the end of the day is your distribution, is how many people you can reach so that when you take advantage of that latest technology, whether it's OpenClaw or whatever else, whatever solutions you build in that niche, you have people you can communicate that to and get in their hands and sell product and make a living off of. So use the latest tech, build distribution.
Alex Finn, dude, you're on a beam and it's been fun. I mean, at this point, I've known you for a long time. It's been really fun to watch the journey and you give me a lot of value, to be completely honest. Like you and Frank keep me on the fucking ball. I talk to Frank a lot and I watch your videos. I read your tweets. You're on an absolute god beam and hopefully we can run this back in a couple months when you're doing 10 million on Creator Buddy. But I appreciate you coming on, dude. It's always a pleasure and just keep doing it. Yeah, no comments on that front.
Love it, man. Always love to support you, dude. Anytime.
Cool, brother. Have a good one, man. I appreciate you, Alex.
Take care.
Peace.
See ya.
Dude, he's on a beam. He's on a beam. That guy fucking, I'll tell you what, that guy talks in clips. You want to see some clips? Bang. Watch what we do with those clips. He's on a beam, man. He's on a beam, and I think that he is just right about where a lot of this is going. He's just right about where a lot of this is going, man. Hopefully we could do it again with him. What did you think? Was there anything you wanted me to ask that I didn't ask? I loved his take about what do you do with it. It's just so good. I love this take about how do you get value out of this thing. We'll bring Frank. We'll get Frank eventually. All right, I'm gonna do a complete switch up. Shout out to Alex Finn, man. That guy's the truth. Complete switch up.
On a quarter-over-quarter basis.
No
we ended the year with 4,951 full-time employees, up 3% quarter-over-quarter, as we continue to invest in product team development, customer support, and compliance infrastructure.
No video?
Adjusted EBITDA in the fourth quarter was $566 million, and adjusted net income was $178 million. On a GAAP basis, we reported a net loss of $667 million, primarily driven by a $718 million unrealized loss on our crypto investment portfolio and a $395 million loss on strategic investments, which includes our investment in Circle. As I mentioned, we're adding to our crypto investment portfolio on a weekly basis. We've modestly increased the size of our weekly purchase to build positions in these price markets. Importantly, we remain in a very strong capital and liquidity position. We ended the year with $11.3 billion in cash and cash equivalents and total available resources of approximately $14.1 billion when you include our crypto assets held for investments and collateral. As our stock price declined during Q4 and through early February, we took the opportunity to begin repurchasing our stock within our previously approved authorization. As of today, we have repurchased $1.7 billion of our common stock, fully offsetting dilution from stock-based compensation for the year 2025. We secured an $815 million notional discount to the average price we issued that stock-based compensation in 2025. In January, our board approved an additional $2 billion share repurchase authorization, which we plan to continue to deploy opportunistically when we see price dislocations and to manage down future dilution from stock-based compensation.
Also, they said they're buying back their stock.
Now
They're
I'm going to touch
lying.
briefly on our Q1 outlook. Through February 10th, We have generated approximately $420 million of transaction revenue. Markets have experienced heightened volatility as we began the year.
Look at this.
So while we always caution extrapolation, it's even more
destroying
important when we
stuff.
see volatility spikes. For the first quarter, we expect subscription and services revenue to be in the range of $550 to $630 million, reflecting the lower average crypto price environment we are in, lower interest rates, and lower staking protocol rewards rates compared to the fourth quarter. On the expense side, we expect technology and development plus general and administrative expenses to be flat quarter over quarter, in the same range we guided last quarter, in the range of $925 to $975 million. Similarly,
Brian?
we expect sales and marketing expenses to be flat to down quarter over quarter, in the range of $215 million to $315 million.
$300 million on marketing?
In the range, largely depending on performance marketing opportunities and the USDC balances on our platform. Overall, while crypto markets remain cyclical, we believe Coinbase enters 2026 from a position of strength.
$300 million?
With a more diversified revenue base,
marketing?
with a scaled global platform, and with the balance sheet that we can be flexible to continue and invest through the cycle. With that, let's go to questions.
All right, we'll take our first questions submitted to us on
Brian,
X.
right?
Our first one comes from @MikePovey65, who asks, are you making any headway on positive outcomes regarding the Clarity Act?
Yeah, I can take that one. So the answer is yes. I'm actually quite optimistic that we'll get something through here in the next few months. And
everyone's saying Brian's the reason Clarity Act
isn't
isn't going down, by the way.
The Senate and the administration, I think they're doing all the hard work here, really, to help bring this to.
Is this Brian? I can't tell. Why is it came off?
Constituents around the table. I'd say the crypto industry is united in their asks and the things that are important to them. Other constituents are around the table, of course, as well. And I think
turn your fucking camera on.
To make a win-win outcome here for everyone, for banks and crypto companies and the U.S. citizen and everyone. And so what we've really focused on is what matters most to our customers, preserving the benefits of crypto, making sure that there's not any kind of protectionism happening for incumbents, but we just want to have
we need Clarity Act
a good level playing field.
Man.
And I think that everyone understands that, and they're all leaning in to try to create a good outcome here. The Genius Act was just passed 6 months ago, so we're careful to make sure that nothing's being relitigated there. But I think there's a good path to get something through, and really others are doing the majority.
By the way, this is right before. I'm a big Brian Armstrong fan. To be fair, this is right before.
Hopefully, we'll get to a good outcome in the next few months.
40,000 shares is how much?
Our second question is from @InternetToken, who asks, with base TVL and sequencer revenue growing strongly in late 2025, what percentage of overall
$7 million
revenue do you expect layer 2 activity
$6-7 million
from base and partners to contribute in 2026? And are there plans to further incentivize builders there?
I'll start with this one, Brian, and then hand it over to you. So first, I just want to a little bit correct the question. Base revenue, we monetize both directly and indirectly. Directly, we're monetizing base through sequencer fees. And those sequencer fees are recorded in other transaction revenue, not in our subscription and services revenue. However, base benefits us indirectly as well. And indirectly, we are using base to monetize throughout our stack, both for Coinbase builders and our own products. And so, for example, USDC on base does drive USDC revenue through subscription and services. We don't have a forecast that we're offering today, but our goal throughout all of our products and services is to continue to drive quality, drive users to our platform to monetize through the stack of products and services we offer.
They should say banker. Say banker.
Incentives.
Yeah. So for the second part of the question about what incentives we're putting out there to build for builders on base. So we're doing this in a number of different ways. We do give out grants called base grants for builders. We're improving our developer tools all the time just to make it simple for folks to onboard. And we're getting distribution for many of these builders through our apps. So an example of this recently was these AI agents that have been spinning up. We put out some really useful tools for developers to just get any AI agent a crypto wallet and begin to make stablecoin payments and begin to complete agentic commerce, essentially.
Say it.
And that started to get quite a good amount of traction. Say it. We're exploring a base token as well, which we've mentioned in the past. And then the base app itself which is taking this more trading focused approach. We think it can help driving distribution for builders on Base. So yeah, these are all ways that we're.
He skipped. He did not want to say that.
The Base chain itself is.
He did not want to say that.
Trading.
He did not want to say that.
Use cases. So our goal is to help it be really like the primary utility layer.
He did not want to say that.
All built on Ethereum.
And our third and final question from X comes from Chief Skirp, who asks, what product or platform initiative are you most excited about that investors may be underestimating
Mickey Mouse
today?
asks questions, bro. Come on.
Yeah, well, I think the two I'd draw folks' attention to are the Everything Exchange, right? I think it's a big vision that how do we get all tradable assets on chain? In the end state of this is that we'd want to see 24/7 global markets. Anybody can come in and participate. There's a
Mickey
more
Mouse
level playing field, democratizes access to a lot of this, and it'll just make it much easier to do capital formation, price discovery. I think the ideal outcome here is we'd be one of the top exchanges in the whole world across any asset class. That's really the vision for the Everything Exchange. And because we have this deep crypto expertise, I think, and crypto is the most important technology updating the financial system right now, I think we'll have an advantage there. The second one I'd point people to are stablecoin payments. I mean, I think we're still in the very early days of this. Stablecoins have already gotten pretty big, but I think that we're just scratching the surface. And payments globally they flow to the path of least resistance. And stablecoin rails they're faster, they're cheaper, more global. And so today, about 0.5% of global GDP runs on crypto rails. I don't see any reason why that couldn't be 10 or 20% in the next decade. And so we think there's a lot of room to run there as well.
All right, we'll now take questions from our research analysts.
Do you want to keep listening to this?
To us in writing, and we'll take one question per analyst and optimize to cover as broad a range of.
Do you want to keep listening 5 minutes or no?
Being repetitive. Our first question comes from Andrew Jeffrey at William Blair, who asks, please discuss line of sight to Everything Exchange monetization. What are your thoughts on the timing about revenue diversification?
Thank you for this. Diversification has long been a focus of ours. So when I look at 2026, what I would focus on is diversification of tradable assets under the Everything Exchange. Derivatives will be a big growth driver, we believe, in 2026. We have good momentum.
What is the
across
Everything
the US
Exchange?
And international markets.
When did this
we have momentum
become new vernacular?
Coming from the integration of options into our platform from the Deribit
We've never heard
acquisition that we did in late 2025. So we believe that this can be a large part of our future story and strategy. In addition, within the last few weeks, as Brian shared, we have rolled out prediction markets and we have rolled.
This should just be a threadguy stream, right?
There's early encouraging signals.
How many lives does this have, do you think?
So we will share more updates at the end of Q1.
How many lives does this
have?
have?
More than weeks and days of data under our belt. We're really proud that historically we've had achievements in driving diversification. We have 12 products, as we mentioned, with over $100 million of annualized revenue. Derivatives is included in that. We're working hard to scale, and we see more and more of these products able to graduate and hope that they will join the $250 million tier of annualized revenue, where we already have 6 of those 12 products. Ultimately, the goal of all of these products is that we are driving.
How's it got less clicks than our stream?
On our platform.
4,200 views.
Those native units.
Let's have less
driving
clicks.
That flywheel where customers hold their assets. We hope they will trade more products.
Let me stop
and
hating.
The more
I'm hating.
tradable products we give to them, that will drive the monetization on trading. And underpinning that with our subscription and services, we store those assets. We provide platforms like USDC, which is a clear benefit to be able to trade in and out of various markets, and other horizontals that will really support that trading growth.
Next question is from Ken Worthington at JP Morgan, who asks, could your economic relationship with Circle change depending upon language in a market structure bill? In particular, could passage of a bill such as Clarity that eliminates promotional payments to stablecoin holders directly eliminate or directly curtail Coinbase's participation in Circle reserve fee income?
Good question.
Yeah, so the short answer to your question is no. We don't see any way that this market structure legislation would change our economic relationship with Circle. The part that's being debated in the Senate draft for Clarity, actually the House draft already received a strong bipartisan vote and didn't have any restrictions on these stablecoin rewards. But some drafts we saw, and actually more like amendments, I would say, in the Senate banking draft, we're contemplating that, and this, prohibiting rewards essentially in various ways. And the irony actually is, if that
He
were
sounds
to
a
go
lot like
into
Jesse.
law, it would actually make us more profitable because we would just continue to receive the economics from Circle. But today we pass majority of that along to the customer. If we were prohibited from doing that, it would ironically, it would just make us more profitable. But we actually don't want that to happen for a number of reasons. One is that we think it's better for customers. We think it's better for the United States of America, so that these regulated stablecoins can be competitive on a global
They'd be
stage.
more profitable if they
And
couldn't
it's
get yield
already
from
allowed
stablecoins.
under the Genius Act, which just became law 5
How is
months
that
ago.
true?
So our strong point of view is that should continue to be allowed, and we'll keep.
If it was
fighting
more
for that.
profitable, would they just be doing it?
Our next question is from Owen Lau at Clear Street.
No
who
follow-ups.
asks, the valuation of the whole sector, including tokens and equities, has come down. How does Coinbase think about the opportunities in larger scale buybacks and M&A?
Thanks for the question, Owen. So we're very focused on it.
Who
As
is
I
this?
mentioned in my
Whose
opening
voice is this?
comments, we ended the year in a strong financial position with over $11 billion in cash and cash equivalents. We're focused on buybacks. As I mentioned in my prior comments, we've deployed $1.7 billion to repurchase 8.2 million shares under our buyback program. That includes Q4 through February 10th. 2025 was an incredible year for us on the M&A front. We completed 10 acquisitions/acquihires, and each one helped us enable acceleration in our product roadmap, including Deribit, which was the largest crypto deal of all times. We're deploying our money into Bitcoin purchases. We significantly grew our portfolio in 2025. We doubled the number of BTC native units we held in our investment portfolio. So we are going to continue down all those paths. We're going to continue buying Bitcoin, continue buying back, continue to look at opportunistic M&A, and continue to really dynamically manage the opportunities that we see ahead of us. We feel very proud that we've delivered 12 consecutive quarters of positive adjusted EBITDA, and so we've proven that we can drive profitable profits in any market environment. We will continue to do so in 2026, and then allocate that capital with the highest ROI to our business.
Our next question is from Patrick Moley at Piper Sandler, who asks, what have you seen in terms of prediction market adoption to date among Coinbase customers? Do you have plans to build your own prediction market venue, or are you comfortable continuing to act as a retail distribution for existing venues?
Yep, I can take that one. So, our prediction markets really just rolled out to 100% of customers about a couple weeks ago. So it's early days, but so far the interest has been great. Super Bowl weekend was a really great moment where a lot of customers got to experience it for the first time. And, we're making lots of improvements rapidly on both the UX, adding more markets, having a dedicated sports hub where people can see live scores and things like that. And frankly, just marketing it, getting the word out. I think a lot of Coinbase customers are, delighted to find out that this is available in the app, because they already store quite a lot of assets with us. And so we just need to make them aware of it. And I think it's going to be a really good outcome.
Y'all good?
We launched it with our partnership with Kalshi, and they've been a great partner. It's not an exclusive arrangement. We also have the ability to launch our own markets. Nothing to announce on that at the moment, but we're keeping all options open.
Our next question is from James Yarrow at Goldman Sachs. Do you think we're heading into another crypto winter? How long until the cycle could begin to recover, and how should investors think about the KPIs suggesting that the cycle could begin to turn?
Yeah, I can touch on that. So, in general, we don't try to predict the future too much here. We see our job as just building great products and services for our customers, and then we leave the investment decisions to them. I will say that in general, I kind of enjoy these periods sometimes when the market is down, ironically, just because it allows us to keep building. There's opportunities in every market, whether it's up and down, and so it gives us a chance to buy Bitcoin. It gives us a chance to buy back our stock. And we've been through so many cycles like this in crypto. I actually don't think it's that connected to core KPIs like you asked about, or some sort of fundamentals. There's a lot of kind of Monday morning quarterbacking happening where people will look backwards and say, oh, it must be because of Kevin Warsh is an inflation hawk, or quantum computing's on the horizon or something. And I actually think markets are a little bit more like psychological things where people think someone else is going to think something, so they try to get ahead of it. And I don't think this market correction is that connected to any fundamentals. We're still seeing good growth of, stablecoin adoption and other kind of indicators. So, I'd say in this environment, we're seeing traders on our, like at these prices, we're seeing people on our platform who are net buyers. But I would leave the investment decisions to you all on this call.
Next question is from Ben Budish at Barclays. Can you talk about your 2026 spending plans, given a variety?
It's a pretty good answer. Giver had the take. I think Vicky had the take as well. That is like, whenever there's a move, people try really hard to justify why it happened. And sometimes there just isn't a super clear something you could point to as to why it happened. And I don't know. I kind of feel like we're in that place. There's like 9 different things you could point to, but there's no way to really know what it is, which one it is. So it sort of is what it is. I guess one thing I want to read to you. It's kind of long, but it's a good post. This guy named Axel Bitblaze just read this AI article, and something broke in my brain I can't unthink of. Okay? Crypto was never for us. We are just the beta testers who showed up early. Some thoughts. What does AI need to function as economic agents? 1, a way to receive payment. 2, a way to receive resources. 3, a way to transact with other AI agents. 4, no human intermediaries. 5, 24/7 operation. 6, instant settlement. 7, programmable money. Now read that list again. That is literally what crypto is. Okay, I said this at the beginning of the stream. I'm going to say it again. Is that crypto is going to win despite our best efforts, that we were able to stumble into just the greatest, if not the preferred and superior use case for cryptocurrency. AI can't use the banking system. Trying to open a bank with an AI agent, you can't. By the way, these are the takes we've been talking about for weeks. Need social security, human identity, KYC. We know this. AI is none of that. But crypto, send me a wallet, done. Peer-to-peer makes sense when the peers aren't humans. Satoshi wrote a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash. We assumed peers equal humans, but AI agents are peers too. Actually better peers for crypto because they never sleep. They're always online. They execute transactions at machine speed. No emotional decisions, and the perfect accounting and tracking. Programmable money makes sense when the users are programs. Bar. Smart contracts seemed over-engineered for humans. Like, why do I need a code to enforce agreements when I can just sign a contract? It's a good take. But for AI agents coordinating with each other, they are code. They speak in code. They trust code more than anything. Smart contracts aren't for humans. They're for autonomous agents that need trustless coordination. Now, smart contracts are good for humans too. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves, but the take makes sense. Here's what happens next. Phase 1, now. Agents start earning. AI writes code, analyzes data, provides services. It gets paid, needs somewhere to store value. Can't use Venmo, can't use a bank, uses crypto. It's the only option. 2, AI agents become major economic participants. Millions of agents operating 24/7, transacting with each other constantly. AI agent A provides data. Agent B pays for it in crypto. Agent B uses that analysis to write code. Agent C pays for the code. Rinse and fucking repeat till we're all rich or we all die. Humans in crypto now, $2.5 trillion. AI agent economy by 2028, easily 10 to 50 trillion. Did he just make that up? Let's see. Claude. Let's ask the AI what it thinks. How big will the AI agent economy be by 2030? I think is a decent time horizon. 2030 sounds right. Fucked up out my face. I don't smile no more, but we okay. Yeah, see, this number is way off. The consensus for major research clusters around 53 billion. Growing from roughly 5 to 8 billion today. He says 50 trillion is insane. 50 trillion is like bigger than the stock market. That's an insane. You lose some credibility on that. But we become the minority holders. Phase 3, AI chooses the winning chains. I'm very unsure about this, but AI doesn't care about community vibes or which founder tweeted what. They test every chain. They measure speed, TPS, reliability, smart contract efficiency. Billions in economic activity flows there. You have AD double HD. How can you tell? Whichever chain AI chooses becomes the standard. How far does this go? Conservative case. AI becomes 30% of crypto users by 2030. It's probably already 30%, by the way. Crypto market cap, 10 trillion. That's not that insane. AI holds 3 trillion. Humans hold 7 trillion. He's just making numbers up, if we're being completely honest. But this has 1 million views, and it has some legitimacy to it. Like, I believe that the internet was made for AI. Humans are good at real life. Humans are not that good at the internet. AI is made for the internet. AI is not that good at real life. And the guy's sensationalizing a little bit, and he's getting a little bit carried away with the take. But I think this is going to play out relatively well. I think it's going to play out relatively well. And it's going to happen for us, despite our best efforts to not make it happen. And at the very least, there will be a lot of AI transacting happening on chain. And that is why we sort of have like a bipartisan default to root for it. And so, last thing I'm going to say on stream today, Naval tweet, really good. People who don't organize into tribes get wiped out by people who do. Chat, I think the wealth effect that is brewing in this community of our stream chat and the pit and everything that we do is going to be extreme. Okay, I saw this tweet earlier, right here. The world is more uncertain right now than 9/11, the Iraq War, and COVID combined. World Uncertainty Index, kind of a ridiculous chart, reaches historical highs. Followed it with this. I talked about this yesterday. Funny, the tweet. I almost like I say something on stream, and then they like spawn the tweet for me to read. Investors hate unknowns. AI is the biggest of our lifetime, maybe second only early to COVID. Unknowns resolve. That's the trade. The trade is buying when it's unknown and selling on resolve. Okay? It's like buy the rumor, sell the news. We have an opportunity to make that trade right now. And I think the Naval tweet is fucking based. And the only thing I can think about is there's this compounding knowledge effect that's going to happen within the stream chat, where the more time we spend here, the smarter that we get, the more time we spend, the better the info, rinse, repeat. It's like iron sharpens iron. And I've talked about this before. This is the actual network state. The network state is real. And this is how it starts, really. It starts out the group chat. Really. It starts at the group chat. And then the group chat gets fucking rich and says, we should expand IRL. The group chat gets some land. The group chat gets like a crib, buys like a complex. And then you have some IRL land. The group chat gets more successful, gets fucking rich, and then it goes for political power. Read The Sovereign Individual, bro. Tribes. When there's collective disbelief in the social contract that we live upon, which is America, and the admin that runs our country, the government, which is happening rapidly, people assimilate into tribes, bro. You look for someone. This is like, study how someone like Nick Fuentes has risen to power so fast. You assimilate into small groups and you desperately look for someone that at least is fucking being honest. You look for someone that at least is down to take it on the chin and like tell you it how it is. You look for someone that you at least trust, especially in this world of uncertainty, when soon there will be a chasm that gets crossed where you no longer know what to believe on the internet. And so you've sort of already made your decisions on like, who do I trust? Who do I know? Who do I affiliate with? Who do I want to be associated with? What do I believe? Who do I believe? And take it on the what? Yeah, take it smeared on the face. And that's where we're heading, man. We're fucking heading to tribes. I'm telling you, the left woke is topped. The right conservative is also topped. And so everyone lands somewhere in the middle. I don't know exactly how it plays out, what it plays out. But all I'm telling you is that there is a mega trend, decade-long trade on the table, which is buying uncertainty and selling when it's certain. And look, we're probably not going to be like, if out of everyone in the world, are we going to make the most money from the AI thing? I don't know. Maybe, but we're going to be fucking up there. Wherever money is made, we're going to be part of it. I can guarantee it. And there's just going to be this fucking wealth effect similar to Solana going to $8 and then 265, and then everyone getting rich on the chain. There's going to be a grandiose wealth effect from this stream in the pit chat. Seriously, like I actually deeply believe that, and so that's my goal, is to get closer to that every single day. I'm kind of in shambles right now. I really crashed out, and now I'm like low energy because that shit Pam Bondi ruined my life. Pam Bondi legitimately ruined my life, and it crashed me out earlier. But dude, you just like can't help but feel it and can't help but see it. And so I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I have a Telegram chat that I've just been getting increasingly unhinged in, and I thought I was gonna tweet the link one day. I can actually never tweet the link. I actually have it, so if you try to screenshot, it doesn't screenshot it, and then you get nuked out of the chat. You get deleted. So you can never cancel me. I am becoming uncancelable. If you would like to join, here's the link. It's pretty brutal in there, dude. I'm going to be honest. Like, fucking brace yourself if you want to join. And I am now going to send you an Erasmus stream, which I wasn't going to do, but I saw a message now that Erasmus is live, and I feel like if I don't do it, if I don't raid Erasmus, I feel like I'm going to be karmically punished by God because I saw the message. And if I could unsee it, I probably would. But I saw it, and now it's like stuck in my brain. And if I don't send you in there, I feel like I'm a bad person. So from the bottom of my heart, I feel like I'm a bad person. I feel like God's going to punish me if I don't send you in there, because I knew in the back of my head, and I could pretend like I didn't see it, but I saw it. And so it is what it is. Man, you know the thing about being past the NBA trade deadline is you get free agents. Free agent signings are still possible after the trade deadline. So I'm telling you, man, Saturday's the NBA All-Star game. Only offense. There's no defense being played at all at the NBA All-Star game. All you have to do is show up on the court and you're getting 40. So tomorrow's Friday. It's going to be a fun stream. Ask me this. The last 2 weeks, streams getting better or worse? Are you liking stream more or less than you used to? Because I feel like we're I feel like we're getting good. Should I just keep going? I feel like we're getting better. Should I just keep going? Fuck, man. You feel like they're getting better? Why? I feel like they're getting better, dude. They're quality maxing. By the way, Monday's stream, dude, we are going to do a China maxing stream. Yeah, that's the topic of the stream. China maxing. I'm even going to practice the Trump vernacular. I'm going to say it like Trump. China maxing. We're going to say it. I'm going to say it. I'm going to talk about it. And by the way, we don't do interviews anymore. It's awesome. We don't do any interviews anymore. We're going to do a China maxing stream. We're going to do bits to atoms. We're going to do a little bit of everything. I don't really have that much else I want to talk about, to be honest. Like, I could keep going, but I could tell you, like, girlfriend lore. I don't really have that much else to talk about. I'm going to rug while we're on a high because I want to save some good stuff for tomorrow. Oh! The guy actually wants $1,500, by the way, to set up OpenClaw live on stream. Do you want me to pay him or no? I will pay him. It wouldn't hurt if y'all fucking drop some Twitch subs, but I will pay him if you want. I will pay him to do it. $1,500, man. Are you fucking kidding me? There's a first-time chatter in here that didn't say anything until that. Somebody else send a first-time chat and say, yes, I'll do it. One other person, it pops up on the screen. It says, if one more person says a first-time chatter, I'll do it. Otherwise, it's not happening. No, not a gifted. I need a first-time chatter to come in here and say yes. Otherwise, it's not happening. Okay. A guy named Fat Pappy did it. Fine. I would spend $1,500. So y'all, there's three people. Y'all just in here like quiet. Juice Cardi 69. Y'all just like don't want to say nothing. You don't want to like give me any energy. You don't want to like share your light with me. It's fucking bullshit, man, the way y'all move. Last thing is there's a really good article that I want to read and I'm not going to read it. It's called Tool-Shaped Objects by Will Mandanis, I think it is. Really good. I'll read it tomorrow because I need some content for tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a good stream. I'll talk about Pam Bondi. I don't even know her name anymore. I've said it too many times. You know when you like say Band-Aid 100 times and then it's like, what does that even mean? Is that even a Band-Aid state of mind? What does it even mean? Band-Aid, Band-Aid, Band-Aid. That's how I feel with the Pam Blondie. Pam Batty. Pam Bombshell. All right. I'll fucking raid this fucking kid even though I don't want to do it. But now I feel extra bad because I already committed to it. So, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Streams are getting better. It's fucking hype. If you want to join the Telegram, join the Telegram. OpenClaw is the future. You better pray it is, because the future of our economic sovereignty relies on it. What else? We're sovereign individuals. We're the network state. I don't know. Y'all have fun. I love y'all. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.